Jimmy Mckenna, Doon, County Limerick, whose father, Mick Joe, was in the Congo in the 1960s. Hopefully he's inside.
Hello, Tati, how are you? Are you good?
I'm doing a sponsored work and I'm bringing you back. You're a long time since I saw that.
Jesus Christ. Years now.
And do you know how I'm trying to do I think about the Congo. What you know about Mick Joe? Roughly.
Jesus, I'd have to fucking I'd have to wreck the brain like.
Wreck the brain?
Yeah, I'd have to like inquire over at home and see is there any old the years and photographs and things. They're over at Mickey's like.
Oh, are they?
There, yeah.
Mickey isn't great talking for him, is he?
Well, it's hard to understand because he got his stroke, has he?
Yeah, someone said that to me. Someone said that.
No, I tell you what you'll do. If you go up to Liam, right?
All right.
You know Liam.
Well, I don't know Liam, but I'll find him.
Living above number 13. Liam is over there every second day, like, and he'd have access to the photos and stuff. No, there would be a share of photographs and stuff there. The dates would be going back to, would say Mick Joe was the Congo and Cyprus and stuff. The dates would be going back to the 60s, the early 60s.
Mm-hmm.
But there's photographs and stuff over there now. Liam to be over there on the every second day, and he'd have more input than I would, because as I said, I'd be only in there a very odd time, and the reason I don't go in there is just hard. You know what I mean? It's hard for me to be there looking at him and kind of trying to understand him.
And did he bring back? Can you remember? Did he bring back any souvenirs? Any old yours?
He brought back souvenirs. All right, now and I'm going to tell you this, and I'm going to tell you the truth. Where a lot of them went, they were sold for port.
Well, you see, Jack Doyle brought back stuff as well, and all that's left around the place is couple of ebony heads.
Mick Joe had told him, and I don't know exactly even are they over there. Mick Joe was as a fellow says, was an alcoholic, and a lot of his stuff, publicans bought it. Between me and you, there's a share of that John Hayse.
Well, he saw, as a fellow says, he sold it himself anyway. How are you doing? I think a sword ended up. I keep showing my Matter's house.
What you call it now? Mick Joe had some fine stuff. Bayonets, Congolese battens, fucking we'll say hand carved fucking there'd be scabbards with knives with handles. They'd be kind of oak up that way. They were hand carved. With brass fucking fittings on them, brass locking clips. He one or two of them. They disappeared, and I like that's.
And did he give say when he came back I think he was there after Jack, right? Did he give a white? He stayed in the army for a good while after.
Mick Joe was in the army. He didn't stay up. He didn't do his 21 years. Mick Joe came out without a pension. I'd say he'd 4 years to do. Got kind of pissed off with it and came out of it.
No, you see, I see there the articles for the book in Capmo, and I said, Jesus, I was always looking at the Oaks at home, and even Chris's father's, Jack, his medal is there, the Congo medal for the cap and that. So I took a few photos, and I says, I'll try and just put this little. And I says, well, when I had in, I says, sorry, who else was it? So he said Mick Joe. I'd heard that before.
His dad would say he's going back to the early 60s anyway, like. And as I said, there is photographs taken in the Congo. It's a few years now since I saw them, but they're over there in boxes, like. And Liam would be able to get you access to them to copy them, or if you wanted to. You know what I mean? I'd say he's maybe one or two berets, but that's about the fucking size of the. But I mean, he had a bit of stuff all right now.
But since he was out there, we might as well put it in.
And he was also in Cyprus.
Was that like
that was later than the Congo. Like, he was also in Cyprus. We'll say I don't think he gave one term definitely in the Congo anyway. He was in the Congo at the time of all the trouble. going back in the 60s when we'll say he was that time.
There was a big ambush, was
and he was there around. He was there, we'll say, on. He wasn't. It was either the tell him after that, but say there was an awful lot of fighting going on while he was there anyway. He was in, we'll say, he was in some gun, the artillery gun company or something, whatever he was in. But he was in Cyprus and he was going to Cyprus on the second time. Would say actually he was in the barracks waiting to go to the airport when my father got bed, so he withdrew.
Okay.
That was going to be his second trip, but he was in Cyprus. He was in Cyprus once, and he was in the Congo. No, he was definitely in the Congo once. I don't think he was there the second time, but he was there once anyway.
Yeah.
He'd be going back in the early 60s. I'd say 62. I was at Berkeley 62. It was either 63. I'd say it could be 63. He was there.
Yeah. Did he get an old shot of money coming home with it?
What he used to get, would say, a married woman that time would get her own. A fellow would say married with kids. She would get her own check while he'd be on foreign duty, right? They'd come back in, they'd have 6 weeks, I think around 6 weeks leave, which would say, and they get a bulk sum. I think that was a month to 6 weeks leave they'd have when they'd come back. They'd get a bulk sum, would say, because they'd be only getting probably so much while they were out there.
How did he go in and out to Limerick barracks when he came back in? Can you remember?
Mostly, he had an motorcycle for the same one actually, a Victoria, an old Victoria. Even the fucking handlebars, the lights were in the handlebars, and lights were saying when you go around the bin, the fucking handlebars, the lights were still straight, and the handlebars are twished. The lights wouldn't move, you know. So I think the two of them bought them around the same time. It was an old Victoria. It was, I think there was. It would be you could switch a lever on it, like to pedal it if you got broke down. You know what I mean? And you'd have your work cut out to pedal it, like. Which was a pedal start, like you'd pedal it to start it, you know, as well.
And had you to have insurance in them?
Oh, Jesus, you had. So McJoe and the Mungo Connors were after hurling matches and after Morrow there in the beginning. So they got more fucking falls than Dundrum got in the fucking in the Egg Cup. But that's the size of it. It's around 62, 63. Like as I said, If you'd have as good memory-wise now, you'd nearly know what all the boys would know. Would you? You'd have a better chance of knowing something, would you? Well, that's about that's about what I know of it. Like we say, the souvenirs and things. As I said, win for fucking Nick.
But you wouldn't mind that. I'm just saying. All I want is a few dates just to put in his name.
Even McGeorge said to Mickey, take away that they haven't got a price of a bottle of fucking whiskey or things like that. Like even they went back into the barracks years and years later, a few years before he died, for this memorial medal, United Nations Memorial Medal, and that went who I think has it is Philly Fitz.
He have a good British
job. I know he could have John Hayse anyway. I know has. Share the souvenirs.
Yeah.
You know, he bought them for fucking.
I bet to give you back there.
Yes,
I belong to you. I've it all scanned anyway, and I've it all.
Twould make you fucking cry, wouldn't it?
Who got a right crack out of that nose, Mike O'Brien?
Did it? Wouldn't it make you cry? The price of fucking stuff today. Like.
Unbelievable. I know anytime. I probably that 5 years, if not more.
Oh, Jesus, you have it a long time. You do no music, no, not a thing.
No, just I probably have it longer so.
Well, as I said, I don't know how long ago, but I remember coming across it was even getting mouldy. I had all the fucking bags of soccer books and was inside in the middle, but Jesus, looking back on stuff you could buy, like, to make you make you lonesome. And all top of the range fucking stuff, wasn't, you know, there wasn't.
Oh, the big place in Dublin.
The big stuff, like.
It was the biggest place you could go, like, you know. I go up as far as Liam.
Yeah, well, he'd be able to get you probably access to the photographs now. He's over there, we'll say, the interview over there 2 or 3 times a week, and I know there is photographs over there, taken in the Congo and Cyprus, like.
Where am I going?
He's, would say.
Is he anywhere near Mckenna?
He's next door to Mckenna on the right.
I'll find him, no bother, so.
That's it, I'll talk to you.
No bother, Jim.
If I hear anything, try to let you know. You know, if I can think of anything that's outside of that.
Thanks very much.
Right, Tom.
Cheers. Right along. Let's see if we can get Liam Mckenna on the recorder. How's it going? I was looking for Liam. Doorbell working now? Goody. Hello. Liam there by any chance?
Yeah. Liam.
Yeah.
The wanted here.
How are you, Liam?
Come in.
That's a bad time. I was below. Oh, you're doing a bit of work. You're flat out. I was below with your brother there. I was going to do an old thing in the Catmore book about the Congo. And I photos of Jack Dial and things. And I asked Laurie, I said, who else was there? And Mick Joe, I forgot. Well, I knew he was there.
Yeah.
Is there any old...
They've gone to home like
that. Did you know dates and stuff? And when he was there?
What, Mickey?
Well, you see, you would have a better chance of talking to him.
I'll be going over to him tomorrow.
Yeah, he's saying you're over in Heather.
Yeah.
Yeah, and...
We can look up for a photo, so if...
Something like that, yeah. Or even, if there's... Is there any old souvenir left around the place? Take a photo of it or something.
Don't know. It's up to Mickey. I know he had buttons and things in fucking...
Dials the same, sure. They have nothing left now.
I'll have a look. I'm going over tomorrow. And
keep in your head for the crack. And I'll meet you again and get a few dates and...
Yeah.
Whatever. If there's anything there...
I
was only talking... Just think of Larry. I was talking to Jimmy.
Yeah.
And I said... I could scan him or something. Actually, you might have his number. Would you still have his little blue number, by any chance, the army number?
They could get the drawing on Mickey. I'll go over tomorrow. And is there anything there, so?
Anything worth making a little document out of it. So we'll have in the computer bit, and you can have it yourself as well. You can always have it there.
Yeah, I'll find out tomorrow. There's only photos there, like, but...
Just to be great. They had only one old bad photo Florrie had of, which you wouldn't even notice Jack died. You know. But when I'd be putting, I was just putting in, I said I'll do something about the Congo in the Catmore book this year. Just a small thing.
Yeah.
And sure, you might as well, anyone around that was in it, you might as well mention it, you know.
Yeah.
And as far as I know, there was only two around, Mick, Joe and Jack.
I just want to get a few photos, anyway.
Sure, if you see anything, yeah. And borrow them for a while, and I'll scan them and give them back to you.
Yeah, I go down to Mickey tomorrow.
Right. I have your number. And I can...
087.
I'll ring you, want to go? Yeah.
087 126 1724.
172. I'll run you down, you'll have mine if you need it. And do you want to be on it, you'll see the missed call.
My phone in there, man, please.
Yes.
That's it.
Sound Liam, I'll leave you alone. Thanks very much.
Right.
I'll see you. There's no point in asking Lance, sorry.
No, because I'm over the motion.
No, but whatever is known, Jimmy probably taught me.
Jimmy, that too.
Yeah, but if we've the old photos, like.
As in
the old photos, they must be behind.
But they're somewhere. Mickey have them all probably put away. If there's any souvenirs already, fucking thing, just come to Congo. We can take a photo and so on.
Lovely. Thanks, Liam.
Alright, not a bother.
I'll see you later. Cheers. That's the end of tracing Mckenna. Is he around?
Oh, he's in the
Huh?
He's there.
Oh, he's next door, is he?
Yeah.
That's all you're going to in, so. No, I'm doing an old article on the Congo and anyone that was in it, I just walked in from there.
Yeah. Just
See where the car is there. And that you get.
Sounds nice. Hey, doggy. Hello there, John.
Yes,
How about the right man, John O'Day?
that's me, I'm afraid.
I'm a neighbour of Mikey Tobin. I think you were in the Congo. Are you in the Congo? I was going to, I'm involved in the Historical Society there in Capmore. I was going to join an article. See, my father-in-law was there as well, Jack Doyle.
Jack Doyle.
And
Yeah.
Mikey Mckenna, he was another neighbour, and we were at it. It'd be nice to put him anywhere that was around, you know.
This is first time I knew.
Huh?
That's the first time.
What's the name of it?
First time anyone ever mentioned it to me for years, the donkey's years.
Go ahead. Well, I was inside, Goff is my own name, Cassie Goff. You probably know it. Do you ever hear the Ryan Roadies come up in Bilbo?
Yeah.
I was raised with them. That's where I come on. Are you here, like all your life?
Yeah.
This place?
Yeah. I'm born next door.
Yeah? And you're very young looking to be a Congo of
There
age.
you are now, there you are now, there you are now, bye.
You must have been in the pram rush there, were you?
Oh, Jesus, that was bad. I joined the army in 1960, 61, came out in 63. 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
That was
And can you remember what crowd you were with out in the
second infantry group.
Second infantry.
Yeah. Rocky Sullivan was the commander-in-chief
Was he?
out there. Sullivan, yeah. Small little fucker.
Yeah.
Yeah, good for nothing fancy, what is it?
I get that. Right, don't they?
They do, yeah, they do. He was warning us, not to bring home any weapons and don't bring this knives and guns and all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
He brought home about 7 big boxes, like coffins, himself. Come through the customs in Dublin. They were over there, we were over here. The fucking guns and muskets and all kinds of shit he had inside in the 7 boxes. Rocky fucking Sullivan, huh?
After all the warnings.
All the warnings he was doing himself.
Yeah. And did you bring any also when you on the finish, did you?
Yeah, if you all bits and fucking pieces over the years, donkey's years. There's only, hang on, this is August. About 3 months ago, on the trailer I have the truck in now, We would scrap around the yard here like there is now, the bits and pieces, and we tucked them into the trailer. And I said, anything else that's made of tin or steel or anything, I went out there to our boiler house and I pulled out my, what we call a mingy box. It's a big tin chest, like a what you call it, a pirate's chest, rounded on the top.
Right.
And square, about 2 foot by 18 inches by about that height.
Yes.
And with a clasp and a lock, for all place for a lock. I bought that in the Congo for all those bits and fucking pieces.
Yes.
Everyone was looking for a mingy box. A mingy box is something you put all the kinds of shit into. Like.
Yes.
And I fucked it up, but that was the trailer.
It's gone now. You were sick of looking at it. No?
I was fucking sick of looking at it. 40 odd fucking years looking at the years thing.
No one had any interest in it?
Yeah, no. My kids wouldn't have any interest in it now.
Yeah. And is it dumped now?
Oh, it's gone fucking dumped.
No,
only 2 months ago, like.
That's
all, just 2 months ago.
Yeah, I have a couple of old, belong to my father-in-law above, we have at our house, a couple of old ebony heads carved out.
Yeah, I had them too, yeah.
Yeah, there was spears and there was knives and everything, but everything was sold between drink and priests taking them off them and fellas buying them off them, nothing survived. But still, were you there in Antifu, the nine beyond?
That was before my time.
And what about the siege of Jatteville? Am I saying that word right?
No, Jatteville, yeah.
Jatteville. That was it.
Jatteville, yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of hush, wasn't it?
But the tunnel there, you see, well, a little bit of fighting went on there.
Yeah.
And we had it handy enough, like, a few skirmishes here and there, but that was all, like, we were out, we were left in Kelly with us. His father was, I think, governor in the prison at the time. He was a gentleman left in Kelly. Oh Christ, and another fella passed out at the same time as him, commissioned at the same time, Coughlin. Larry Coughlin, from Offaly.
Yeah.
Good for nothing fucker. Oh, he thought he was godlike.
Yeah.
But Kelly was a gentleman, thorough gentleman.
Yeah.
You do one for Kelly, like, anything. But Coughlin was a fan. But anyway, to make a long story short, we were keeping an eye on the communes, the villages, like.
Yeah.
Because overnight they'll be up and fucking gone, like.
Oh yeah.
And when 2 or 3 of these villages get together, you're going to have trouble.
Oh, right.
And you have to keep an eye on them like all the time. That's what we were doing, like. And we had our C5 fucking radio. They were an awful hold of a yoke. Huge big thing in the back of the Land Rover. Right in the back of the truck. Back of the Land Rover. And a big aerial. But what the fuck? And you'd be trying to get aerial readings. I don't know, of course, you had to get aerial readings on and get this done. First of all, you had to get this wire. And you had to get a slingshot and fire it out over this fucking trees, like. And then you had to find the mills with a stone and then and pull it down, then pull up the aerial up as high as you could fucking get it. Yeah. What country are you? And then you'd probably get nothing, you know.
That's what all that.
All that, yeah.
Well, if you didn't, you'd definitely get nothing.
Oh yeah, you'd definitely get nothing. But
That's a good one. No, I never had that.
I was driving there with the APCs.
Yeah.
Armoured personnel carriers. They were made in Sweden. They were all white things. They're built like a fucking ship, like open at the top.
Yeah.
And built like a ship that's trapped out on the bottom. If you're on the fire, you get out the bottom, like.
Yeah.
But they were tough fucking things to drive. But we were in Calweezy and we were in Rui Airport.
Yeah.
21 Strip Airport. You get the mail in, the Canadians are bringing the mail, so on and so forth.
Yes.
Calweezy Airport.
Yeah. It's very hard to, although I think the fellas in the remember they were prisoners for 5 weeks or something in the siege of Jatteville.
They were, yeah.
But they seem to be from all up the country.
They were Galway, the Western Command, mostly Western Command.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was up that country.
Yeah.
But what I done was I contacted Collins Barks in Cork, and I managed to get Jack Doyle and Michael Mckenna's when they went into the army, when they came out, and how long they spent in the Congo. And I'll try it with, I guess John O'Day.
John D.
Not O, there's no O, John D.
That's taboo.
Taboo, is
That's
it?
taboo in my name, yeah.
Oh Jesus.
Taboo.
Because I'm mixing up.
You see, you have D's now, and you have Days, and you have O-Day. They have different thinkers altogether.
Oh, go away.
They are all different thinkers. Same tribe, I suppose, but different thinkers.
John, how do you spell the D?
D-E-E.
D-E-E.
Just that.
John D, that'll get me. And you were there from about 61 to
6163.
163. And the other fellow then is Mikey Tobin. Did you ever hear Mikey Tobin?
No, I told
Oh, you
you.
know Mikey Tobin, yeah.
No, I told
I was talking to Mikey there now.
Go away.
I'm living across the road from Mikey, and
Oh, good crack.
that's why he says, would you believe, he says, I seen him, I don't know, was it today, he said something to do with talk anyway, I'd say he saw you there.
Go away.
He must have been passing,
Yeah.
and he explained to the houses anyway. But I reckon there's probably no one else from around, so...
No, there was a Larry, there was a Bernard Ryan, but he's dead.
Yes.
Bernard, an alcoholic in the end.
Yeah.
But he did now for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Bernard Ryan. He was an armourer.
Where was he living?
Just down here in Abington.
Oh, was he as well?
Yeah, Abington, yeah. And I remember I heard that he was in a different command to me now.
Yeah.
I was in the Curragh, first tank fire in the Curragh.
Yeah.
And I went out to the Congo attached to the 2nd Infantry Group as a driver with the 1st Cavalry.
Yes.
And 1st Tank Squadron Cavalry.
Yes.
And he was with some other unit, but he was in the headquarter company. He was doing papers and books and all that shit. But I heard one day he was inside in Colweezy headquarter company. And I happened to be driving in there, and I went in anyway. And fuck, I didn't pretend to know me. Jesus, I was very disappointed altogether.
Yeah.
They fucking know me, like. He was in headquarter company. He was in headquarter company. He was a step above the rest of us, like.
Oh, right.
He was a bookkeeper.
Oh.
You know.
And you might have been mentioned
And listen, afterwards, he had own powers. He came in, and we were playing cards. And they're all dead and gone, all of them, like. There was a big lot of them there, like. They ruled the fucking parish one time, all the land.
Yeah.
And he was one of the last of them. Like. He had a couple of sisters in England. And they had a bit of land down there in Abington. They were selling it at the time to get rid of everything. But I remember he came in, he was introducing the lads onto the table. And he looked at me and he was going to introduce me. I said, don't bother. I said, you didn't know me in the Congo, you don't fucking know me now. So he put down the head and he fucked off. That was the end of it. That was the last time I spoke to the man. But he went on the drink and very bad. He couldn't stop drinking morning, noon and fucking night. He died anyway, he died.
Yeah.
There's a Larry Hayse. He was in the Congo.
Yeah.
He was an armourer.
Yeah.
And he's only over the road here.
Is he dead? Is he dead?
No. Saw him yesterday.
Come on.
Larry, he's only over the road.
Yeah?
Yeah. If you...
Was he after you or before you?
Before me. Before me, just before me. No. You see, when you're in the army, you see, there'd be fellas in different companies. He could be in the south of Ireland, back, and I'd be in the Curragh.
Yeah.
He could have joined in Cork. He could have joined in Limerick.
Yeah.
You see, you'd never meet them, like. Unless the Congo you'd meet. If you were happened to be there, like. But you'd meet somebody, you'd have great friends down the Eastern Command in Dublin side.
Yeah.
Or Donegal, or the Southern Command is Cork. You'd know them, like.
Yeah.
When you meet them there.
Yeah.
But, you know, it is a great place of meeting people, but yet you mightn't meet your own people there. Like. You mightn't even meet your neighbours, ever. And they'd be not too far away from you, like, but just meet them. Like.
And when, we'll say, was there, did you ever hear of any, like, the only kind of honoured the crowd that was taken hostage or whatever prison?
Yeah.
In 2004.
That's right, yeah.
How is it they never had any time, the Irish Army never really had any time for?
They didn't. I was supposed to get 2 medals. And I got the second one, the UN medal, or the Irish Army medal. Only got that one 5 or 6, 7 years ago.
Yeah.
My brother is in the FCA. He was being commissioned in Dublin, and I went up to give him a bit of support, and he presented me as an officer my first medal, my army medal. Yeah.
That's, you know what, that's around the same time, so 2004, that's around the same time they recognised the Jattabel crowd.
Yeah,
yeah.
About that time, about that time.
Yeah, they must have, they said we better honour everyone that's to be honoured now at this stage, you know.
But Larry Hayse, he was an armourer.
Yeah.
What he was doing after, I don't know. But he lives another crossroads, Holmes' crossroads over. On the Capmore Road, as you go back to Capmore now.
Yeah, Holmes is Nurseries, yeah.
Nurseries, yeah.
Yeah.
You pass that now.
Yes.
And then there's a bend with a farmhouse on your left.
Yes.
And he's a house on your right, across the road from the farmhouse.
So wait a minute, no.
Larry Hayse.
No, Larry Hayse. He sounds like There's a day that owned the pub living along there, isn't there?
Nate, that's my brother.
Where are they?
Yeah, Nate.
There's always in there.
He lives across the road from the farmhouse. Larry Hayse now is beyond on the Campmore side, a couple of houses further on the right.
And which one he...
My brother Philip now is living next next door to Ned.
Is he something to do with was he maintenance man inside? And
he was, yeah.
And he told me some great stories. Was it St. Joseph's or somewhere like that?
He was in the city home as far as I remember.
Some couple of hospitals, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you're all brothers.
He's an officer in the army, in the FCA now.
Oh.
He's captain actually. FCA, he is. He was never in the regular army.
Yeah. So I'll wait till I see now. And would the next house after that then be
after
the
Ned's
big house?
After Ned's house now, there's a single story house. A new one's only been built some years ago. Then there's a 2-story house, and then I think Larry Hayes is the third one.
Yeah. Do you know John Welch, the guard?
I do.
You're not going as far as that.
No, not quite.
And the one kind of
he's
beside
this
that,
side of John Welch's.
used to be Ted Morrigan once.
Yeah, he's between the two.
Oh, he's in the
Larry
middle.
in between the two. Yeah, as far as I remember now.
Hayes.
Larry Hayes. Yeah.
And is it a bungalow?
It is a bungalow. As far as I remember, you
I didn't know
would even
come
be
back
to look into that. Yeah, John got to do that.
Pleasure to meet a guy from the army.
I get off this fucking thing. I have. Hang on there. Hang on now. Hang on. Oh, Jesus, that's Christmas. That's not one of the only things I have left. I need to tell one time.
It's
made of ivory.
Yeah?
It's a tusk.
Yeah.
And it's carved out. And I gave it to my sister, Sheila. She's not well at the moment, she's in Parkinson, she's in London, she's Parkinson, she's not well at all, she's in Nursing Home. I've walked back to see her every now and again.
Yeah.
But she keeps asking for me, she was living in Maryland Road, 30 odd years ago. And she had to have an ornament on the table. And this woman came to her door in London. And she wanted to get into the house to go upstairs. She was fighting with Italian people upstairs. And of course that get past Sheila. And Sheila wouldn't let her in, she was going to trouble, you know. And the woman swinging at Sheila, trying to pull her hair and got her. And Sheila grabbed that off the mantelpiece. She clobbered over this. That's probably where that got broke.
Oh yeah, can I take a photo of it?
So, you could take it with you.
Where? Do you want it back?
Never want to see it again.
Oh yeah, that. Can I take a photo about, can I have a photo of you?
You can keep it, you can keep it. Okay. Somebody someday will appreciate it. That was in the Congo 1960, came up in the Congo 1963.
Here's a fair play at you, boy. I'll put it up beside the...
Put it somewhere where somebody...
Some
of kids wouldn't even bother their rat. Today my agree is that.
There's a great old story to it, in the same, you know.
But that was the only fighting that was ever in. yeah. Anyway, take a picture.
Fair play.
You'll find a home for that someplace.
I will, I'll try and put it
that's in a place called Elizabethville.
I've seen it mentioned a few times
Elizabethville, yeah.
In the books.
Yeah.
I read a few articles on the internet.
Seldenham and Sallycotton Road. Yeah. Carve a mountain.
Yeah. Out of ivory, huh?
Out of ivory.
And was it ebony? Was there ebony trees out there? There must have been.
There was, and there was another stone that was very popular out there that we could get. It is they mine it out there actually, kind of stone. It's an offshoot of the mines. They dig it for copper and ore and different things. But this maracide, it's a bluey green soft stone. It comes up very highly polished. You could make jewellery with it. Maracide is called. Yeah. And the lads used to bring home lumps of that and necklaces with maracide and rings with maracide in it. And maracide was a very famous in the 1960s out there, like.
Oh.
Maracide, yeah.
And
high polished stone. The natives now would cut that stone and they'd polish it up like, oh boy, like real jewellery. You wouldn't know the difference, like.
Yeah. And the mines, the whole idea out there in the first place was they were trying to keep the mines going, weren't there?
Union Miniere, they were called.
Yeah.
Union Mines Miniere.
Yeah, that was...
They had the Belgians used to run them, and they had the blackfellas, the natives working in the mines. They give them an awful fucking life, like.
Yeah, and sure, that's what kind of stirred up the whole thing, wasn't it?
Like. Then Belgians would come and take everything they had. Like.
They wanted to keep it going.
That's right.
Didn't want to get out, like.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that's it.
I'm only learning about it myself, later.
Anyway, call to Larry Hayse.
Yes, I will.
He'll have some more to tell you.
I will. So, see what the crack is.
You know where Nate lives, and you know where Philip lives. Nate lives. He owned a pub in Capmore one time. Nate across the road from the farmhouse. Nate, he's a taxi driver now.
Yeah.
He's taxiing the yard from Colin. Philip then is next door on this side of it. The bungalow as well as a caravan in his yard. And he's at work now at the moment anyway, and his wife is at work.
Do you mess around with the computer at all yourself?
No, my daughter does. I'd love to.
Would she be here or?
No, she's in town at the moment.
In town.
She goes to town fucking twice a day. You think, Jesus, she's here there.
But you have one here, like.
There is one here.
And I suppose you don't know if you have any, and I could send you anything I find out. I could send an email to you. If she has.
Well, I'll leave you my phone number.
And
I'll leave you my phone number. I don't know my own phone number now, better. I have it in here under M for my phone number. My number. Oh God. 087.
Yeah.
087 942 8617.
I'll ring your phone there now just to make sure.
Yeah.
And my number will be on your phone then. Oh, there we are.
That's it.
I must save that now in case I forget it. And make sure I put in the live out the old.
Yeah, go live out the old. They're different thinkers.
Great.
They're different thinkers.
John D. Congo, I'm writing you in it.
That's fine. That's fine.
Because otherwise I would say, who the name of guy?
You would name it. Who's that fellow?
I'll look at it in a year's time. But I wonder the Congo above and Royal Cross, was it around that time it got named?
It was.
You would imagine, didn't you? You would imagine there'd been a couple of skins up there.
You would imagine so. You would imagine so. I was there once in my life, that's all.
In that pub?
In that pub, just once.
I was going to say...
Many years ago.
Do you know, I'd be saying, this is a tusk that John Dee brought back from the Congo, and I was going to write in, and this is a beer mat that Tossie got brought back from the Congo.
Yeah.
That's what I have got.
However.
Yes, I'll go over and talk to your man anyway.
Anyway, Larry Hayse.
Up there, John.
Down to the bell. Give me a shout anytime.
And, so if I get an old bit of info, I'll give you a ring and or else you can get my number there, you can get the daughter to send on the email or something.
Grand job.
Take care, John. Thanks. Cheers. Right, that's John D. Over at the cross where it says Capamore 4 kilometres, Doon 16 kilometres, and Anacotti 11 kilometres. That's where he lives. Now this could be, I hope this is Hayse now. That's was in the Congo. Living 3 doors out from John Welsh. How's it going?
Hello.
Is it Willie Hayse?
No, Larry Hayse.
Larry Hayse, near enough. Were you in the Congo by any chance?
No, I probably should have been.
Oh no, I was doing an old. I was over there with John D. Do you know John D? Over?
Yeah.
And I'm. If you know Jack Doyle in Capmore years ago, he was my father-in-law.
Yeah.
And then Mikey Tobin up in Bilbo. Tossie Goff is my own name, but I was doing an article on the Congo, and I says,
right.
he reckoned you might have been there. So
no, I was. I tried to go there, but I was doing courses at the time, and they wouldn't let me.
all right.
So I wasn't finished until '64, and the Congo finished early '65. So I got to Cyprus instead,
Oh,
but I never got to the Congo.
oh yeah.
No.
Were you in the army a good while?
25 years.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Are you out of it long?
Oh, I'm out of it 25 years, 26 years.
Oh, are you?
I left it in 82.
82.
Yeah.
Because you might have been. Were you in Limerick?
The last 3 years I spent in Limerick.
Do you remember a fella called John Moore coming into it? From Boher.
John
He was in my class going to school, and he went off and he joined. He became a carpenter in the army. He's from Boher. He's out of it now himself.
No, can't recall.
was
I came across him. But when he started carpentry, did he?
He did.
He got an
Around.
ace. You know.
I don't know. Around. Could have been around 1980, 81, something like that.
Yeah.
Two of us left school together and played that.
Because I started off in AS now, which is when you said he did carpentry. Because it was a school that taught trades, and I did a fitting trade.
Oh,
There was electricians and carpenters and mechanics.
And do you remember at the time the way just one incident, like apart from the siege of Jattaville, the way it wasn't recognised until about 2004? Was that in people's minds back then?
Oh, it was, yeah, it was. There's a couple of books about it, you know.
I think I read one online and I went blind last night looking at the computer.
Yeah, there's at least 2 books written on it anyway.
On that,
Yeah,
and up to date, we'll call it that
the last 3
after
years.
2004.
Yeah, I think Power was one for his name that wrote.
Yeah.
Because there was a friend of mine who was in ACE and he was in Jattaville and he got wounded, and he got a decoration out of it. And what happened and all that, you know.
Yeah.
It's probably still in print, you know.
Oh yeah.
Might be interesting.
There was one of them there now. There was only 300 of them printed, and it was about 160 quid. And you're lucky to find one.
Well, yeah.
But they kind of done a limited edition, you know. But the feeling on the ground at the time, was it like, did they feel hard done by you?
Oh, they did, yeah. They did, because it was kind of put like that they surrendered, you know.
Yeah.
But they maintained that they were kind of tricked into going there.
Yeah.
And like that all the supports were pulled out and they were left there on their own. Which I think was the case too.
Yeah. Well, the bit I was reading last night now, it's like the support got as far as some bridge, but it was going to be, it's crazy, impossible to get in anyway.
And he turned back into it away again, you know.
Yeah, there was fighting went on at the bridge, but
they were left on their own.
But the funny thing is, the 150 men in there, they were put in after another crowd.
They were, yeah.
How are you doing?
I
just heard you talking about that book. I think I saw it in the library in UL.
Oh, did you?
I can't remember what it was called.
Siege of Jattaville, I think was the name of the book.
You don't pronounce the T in I don't know.
Jattaville.
Jattaville. I don't know if you're trying to pronounce that now reading it.
Yeah, Jattaville.
I think that book is inside in the library in UL.
Is it?
Yeah. I can't remember where exactly. History section probably.
I'm sure someone in with a couple of names, they'd soon find it for me.
Yeah, because they'd have a lot of documentation and stuff downstairs from all sorts of stuff, and they might have something, or they'd be able to transfer it from a different library to there for you or something, you know.
Yeah.
Worthwhile checking out. Go and ask at the desk and you'll get whatever you want.
Yeah.
I don't know what I did with the yoke I bought, to be honest. I didn't do it, no.
Right, that's the thing I gave her for her birthday a couple of years ago, no?
You had a book, did you?
That was about the armoured vehicles
I
and the
had one of the Jattaville books.
Oh.
I don't know whether I still have it or not.
But that crowd there was another crowd only after being pulled out before they went in, wasn't it? And it was kind of, what's the point?
I don't know were the Belgians. I think they were Belgians.
Yeah, and what was it like? Who would be kind of running? Who would be the kind of the bosses in the UN? Would it be mostly America, wouldn't it?
Not necessarily. Who was there that time? I know one of our fellas was one of the top dogs there, but I don't know whether he was there at that time or not.
Yeah, I see his
Sean
name.
McKeown.
Oh.
Can you just hold for one second?
Oh, yeah.
One quick look.
So. No bother. Thanks.
The Irish Defence Forces website.
I haven't, but I was on to the crowd in Cork. I was on to Collins Barracks, John Collins in Collins Barracks.
You could check with that lad.
Looking up dates, really.
There's a few things, even Wikipedia thing, there's a lot of stuff on that too.
Oh, yeah.
As I say, I definitely saw that book inside UL because I actually put my hand on it, but I was researching something that was completely unrelated, and I went, no, I better not get stuck into that because it was what I was doing. But definitely saw it there. I can't. I remember because it was the name I thought was funny. Obviously, it's some sort of Belgian name or something in the Congo.
Yeah.
Definitely saw it in there. Is it an article or something you're doing?
I did more historical book. Do you know that book? Do you get it here? Maybe
I don't live here anymore.
Yeah. Well, you see, I am my father-in-law. I never met him, but he was in the Congo, and I was going to. We had a couple of old ornaments at home, and I said, God, I'll put in an article. I said, well, I'm ahead now. I might. It'd be a pity leave out anyone else that was around, you know. So the minute I saw this, I thought he was going to bring you back from the Congo or something. If you like something they have out there.
No, I read a bit about it, alright, because it was whatever the anniversary that was there a couple of years ago. Actually, it was a 64, 65, wasn't it?
Yeah,
so that book came out around that time.
Well, there was a 2004. They finally recognised the crowd.
Yeah, so it must have been in around that kind of time, because I remember the thing being on the radio about the recognition and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And
I hadn't a clue at that time. I was no interest.
Last year now I saw that book inside there, and there's a couple of books are available about the history of the Defence Forces, even if that's something about
Yeah.
But get into the National Archives online as well, you know.
Well, really, what I'd be more interested in now is what that man there is after saying about. Well, first hand, it's because you know you'll get.
This isn't the one I was thinking about, but it's I don't know if you've seen.
Would you believe I'm after reading that online last night? That's the one.
That's the one you read, is it?
Sure. Open up a few pages of it and I'll recognise it. I don't know that. No, that don't. No. It's just the cover looks the very same as it with the helmet.
There's a different edition, you see, because an online edition will be different too.
Yeah, department growing confidence.
And at the back now you have all the people who served in the Congo.
Yeah, it looks very similar in that way as now.
Well, I'll tell you what I do. Look, I'll give you that. You can look through it. If you might find that it's your own one, and I'll find the other one. Brilliant. And it deals specifically with Jadabin.
Yeah.
Specifically with it, you know. So you don't have to go looking for it. Yeah. First to last.
Have you an email here I could write to?
Yeah.
And just in case I can.
I'll tell you now.
And you know I can fire stuff over and back.
I'll do both. I'll be in a minute, Ron. Larry Hayse, my name anyway. And my email is just LARRHAYES. Somebody had taken Larry before me, so I had to knock off the Y. larryhayes@aircom.net. Okay.
That's all small letters I put.
Small letters. That's my mobile.
Yeah.
Now, for TOS.
Yeah, you can take my D.
TOS.
Goff.
GOFF.
GOUGH. 086. 851. 3301. And you want an email?
Yeah.
TOSSIE. GOUGH. Yeah. @ gmail.com. all small letters again.
Yeah.
You know, in case you want to.
Okay.
This is some crack now to see the book. I went blind last night trying to read that.
Right.
And I said that at the level of the dog.
Who just said Jack Doyle?
You see, Jack Doyle's my father-in-law.
Right.
So I had a fierce interest.
That name is very familiar to me.
He did since 1978. He's from. You see, Paddy Doyle was his son, and he was in the Lebanon. You might have known him.
Paddy Doyle is he your local?
Oh yeah, he still lives inside Marion Terrace. Yeah.
I know Paddy Doyle in town. That was all over the place. You know.
No, Paddy is. He was in. You know, and we'll say Mick Joe Mckenna, then Michael Mckenna. He was known as in the army.
Yeah, I know. I knew Mckenna all right inside in the barracks.
Yeah.
Before I left.
There was another Mickey then. Mickey's more or less, I suppose, the bones of 60 or something like that, or 55 or 60. It was 60 maybe.
Well, this one will probably be that now as well, because I mean, I'm going back. I came down from Dublin in 1979 and I left in 82. So I mean, you know, that's
your duration of
this. That was in Limerick.
Oh yeah. Down here, yeah.
I was in Cork for 9 years and I was in Dublin for 9 years.
Yeah.
I was in Mace for 3 years. And I finished off here for 3 years.
Yeah. And what you call it is closed now. It's gone into it's gone into.
Mine's gone, yeah.
Yeah. I was in Crosshaven, a couple of FCA tours myself. Yeah. That was it.
Yeah.
You know.
You're the transport crowd here, was it?
S&G, yeah. Paddy Roach's crowd.
Well, do you remember Barney Ryan?
Yeah.
Yeah, Barney and myself went away the same day.
Did you?
We joined the army the same day.
Where's Barney Ryan from?
Abington. Just over.
Was he a stout kind of a fella?
He was lower size, kind of stout, kind of reddish face.
Yeah. I the name rings a bell now.
Yeah, he was the QM, the quartermaster in S&T.
Oh yeah.
In the
that's why. I recognise his name.
Yeah.
But did Harry build this? Harry Sheehy?
No, this is Brideview.
Huh?
This is Brideview built this.
Yeah.
Harry built the ones down from Neddy down.
Is that
that was Morgan's.
Morgan's. That was the first house I ever worked in as a carpenter. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I worked with the Fitzes. They built that.
Mine was the first house built here.
Was that before that? Was it
2 years?
You know what?
2 years before that.
We must have had a lead plugged in from time to time. So.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah.
Because I don't think
water.
Yeah, water probably because I don't think people had generators that time for work saws and stuff.
No, that's I bought the site off. I bought the site off Morgan.
Oh, he owned all that land.
He did, and we moved in here in May '80, and Tom Morgan himself started building about 12 months later, and he moved in a year later, about 82 or that.
To be just when that was going up, so John Moore would have gone into the army. Because I was it was in my head too, but the next thing was the carpentry job came up, so the job was a job to us. We didn't care whether it was plumbing or carpentry.
That time any kind of a job.
We didn't care what we were doing, you know. Well, that's a good one, no?
And I have that book somewhere. You can get it now.
Yeah, but was your man behind? Didn't he give me a tusk of some sort of a carving on a tusk?
Yeah.
He gave it to me because he said, look, do you know he only thrown out 3 months ago? He said, I don't know what there was a name for it. It was like a strong box that they bought in the Congo to put all bits and pieces into when they're coming home, I suppose.
Yeah, a mingy box.
That's what he said. And he only thrown it out 3 months ago.
Oh, yeah.
He's sick of looking at it and moving it around the place.
There's John down now with the corner, isn't it?
That's John, yeah. I never knew the man existed until... Did you ever hear of Mikey Tobin from Bilbo?
No, can't say.
He was in the Congo.
You see, my old home now was in there. Do you see that house up on the hill?
Yeah.
At the far side of that. That's where I was born.
Hayse?
Yeah. We were Hayes in the bog.
Did you ever hear of Ryan Roddy's from Bilbo?
I did.
Would you know Johnny?
No.
Johnny Ryan Roddy?
No, I know the name now.
Well, I was reared with him.
You see, the thing is, all my young days, I went to Moore School. I was always totally Maru orientated. So I know more people in Moore than I would in Moore.
Hayes is in the bottom. And how would you go into that? In that road there?
Up the Boreen there, up where Ryan was there.
Is there a fella at the box after bought the house? I was in it. Is he still there?
Yes, yeah.
Young fella.
Yeah.
I would 10 years since I was inside there now, so 8 anyway.
But that's where I was born.
Oh, that's the end of the road, is it?
Well, it goes out, there's an old passage out to come out on the Murrow Road eventually. Up there, who's living up there now? Yeah, man, the forestry fella, Ryan. You see the van passing there, Ryan. I don't know, I can't think of his first name now.
Yeah. It comes out there, anyway.
Comes out there, yeah.
Oh.
And my sister is living in there as well, and she's married to Dinny Bryan.
But going and there was no one really from around. It seemed to be up the west of Ireland, or somewhere up around there. That most of the crowd in Jetterville was from.
Yeah, the particular unit, you see.
Yeah.
That time they used to draw the contingents. They'd take most of them from one brigade, like either the southern, the western, or the eastern, or the Curragh. Yeah. Most of them would be from there, and then they'd take others to fill in. So it depends which crowd had the most at that particular time.
I get confused with a lot of the terminology. What you'd see the 35th Battalion and the 36th Battalion. Would that be like?
Well, that would be battalions, yeah, drawn.
What would that mean? What's a battalion mean?
Well, to be a battalion is about 800 men.
Oh, right.
Well, no, it is down now since you see they changed it. But that time to be 3 companies, and there's about 800. What would I say now to be? I'm losing track myself. Between additions and everything else, you'd have about 150. That'd be 450. There'd be roughly 100 plus in a company, and there'd be 3 of them to make up a battalion.
Right.
And when they went out, then they'd put each of the companies in different places. But the battalion would be the overall command.
And what's a unit?
A unit then is part of the company. It's part of a platoon. You see, you have a section, a platoon, you have a unit. That is, we'll say, the infantry, the transport, the engineers, the cavalry, they're all units.
Yes.
The platoon then is 30 of any, could be anybody. Could be 30 cavalry, could be 10 cavalry, 10 engineers, 10, you have a platoon, and then you have a company, and then you have a battalion, then you have a brigade.
Yeah, and then you have an army.
And then you have an army. Then you make up all the way.
Very good.
Yeah.
Because like Dial, I actually contacted Collins Barracks, John Collins in Collins Barracks, Cork, and he's over the kind of archives or whatever it is, and I wasn't very hopeful at first because you have to be nearly married to the person you want the details of. But they're all dead now.
Right.
Yeah, but all I really wanted was the dates that they went and came back, and the dates that they joined the army. And but wanted Dial, and there was only 6 months between their tours, both tours of Dial and Mckenna, and one of them was called 35th Battalion, and the other fellow that was the second crowd. And the first guy that went, it was like the first company or something.
Well, you see, the first crowd that went out to the Congo were the 32nd. You're the 32nd, 33rd, 34th, 35th, and I think the 36th were out there as well. Now you'd have what's called a group to do a particular job. And they'd be smaller. Now, in Cyprus, I was with the 5th Infantry Group, which was smaller than a battalion because they didn't have the money or whatever to send out a full battalion that time.
So it sounds like the first crowd that went out, so it was handier numbers.
No, the first crowd that went out was full battalions.
Over there.
Well,
yeah. I'll have to study it. I'll have to study all the names again. Yeah. Actually, you get definitions on the internet, won't you? About all them things.
Yeah. I'll get that book for you first. Now, as I say, I have it somewhere. I didn't throw it out.
Sound.
And I don't think I gave it to anyone. If it had been anyone, it would have been Rowan.
Yeah.
But he says I didn't.
You never gave it to me.
No, there you are.
Where did you get? You got that one in Limerick, did you?
I must have, yeah. I must say.
On the back of it.
Anyway,
Yeah, that's it.
thanks so much. And
I actually remember reading this bit.
yeah.
So there might be a couple of extra
There might be
bits in it.
something
Be
in it, you
brilliant.
know, exactly. And I'll try and get in. I'll be busy.
Okay,
I'm sure. I suppose if you have any questions, I'll see if I can answer them.
fair play. Thanks a lot.
All right.
Cheers.
Good luck, pal.
Good luck. Right. Well, Larry is not in the Congo, but interesting nonetheless.
Like Lord House out there, and he up and he had it was only on the roof when he was meant to open, and the floors were only in on the roof, you know.
Yeah.
Ground finished off at all. Only the subfloors in, if you like, and there's the post. That time the postman used to bring the post from Newport to Ray. They had a big bicycle with a big carrier in the front of it that to put parcels in, and he'd come on and he'd have to deliver out piled up. But if he'd only a small part of it to do or a thing, he'd put them down the time. They were mostly drinking fellas, and he was anyway. And he'd come on to the Congo to put down the time. Give a few hours there. He'd have to take back the post in the evening from across and Blackmore back to Newport. Took wind in it 5 o'clock or whatever. Took wind to.
Have you? Oh
I was
yeah.
a return post, you know.
Yeah.
But that's how I got the name anyway.
Yeah.
Are you happy about that?
But how are you doing?
No. Oh, Jim.
But what you call it, Jim? Had you two used to be looking at on the telly? Young Liam was saying there. They used to come down to see the Congo on the telly. I would say the soldiers.
Who used to come down?
Anyone, the neighbours used to come down to look at.
No, I said I meant they were having a television was only there, but
Just about came in.
back in the 60s. Here, sir.
Thank you, Jim.
I know.
See, that's inside.
I don't see it in the morning.
But was it Nolan's before was it still a pub like?
Twice. Before that there were 2 old men in it. And when they died, their nephew took it over. Little Jimmy, who would be Pod's father and him.
Yeah.
And so he done it up like her.
Yeah. But who called it? Who christened it the Congo then?
The postman.
Postman.
Simply because they were going out to the Congo. It had some bearing with the Congo. That was so rough, you know.
Oh.
They were even going out to the Congo at the same time. And he was preparing to open this.
All right. Reopen it.
Well, yes, that's the way it is, because indeed what was there before that wasn't much.
Oh.
Reopen it.
Oh, it was kind of to have to be upgraded a bit.
And what did you say you were writing about?
Just the Congo out in Africa, because my own father-in-law was there, so
Oh.
Jack Doyle, and I said to myself, anyone else with a connection around now? Was there anyone across in the Congo, or, out to the Congo?
Oh, there was. Joe the man in Killeen, sure was there. Up there down.
Was he?
He did.
Oh, is he? Yeah. The hardly anyone living around, is there?
No, I don't know him anyway.
Yeah. So that's the crack, so with the Congo.
That's the crack with the Congo.
It was more or less the postman.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He was kind of saying it's as bad as being in the Congo.
Yeah, that was just it.
Reboxing.
Everything was very rough, like.
Yeah. I'll leave you off. Are you trying to?
Fellas were coming in, they were dead to put down their ankles.
Oh yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Oh, because the
was so rough.
the floor was so rough.
Yeah.
Oh. But it must have been around the time they started going out to the Congo, though.
But you know, the history of the pub itself went back very far.
Yeah.
Because in the old days, there was no pubs anywhere, and they had a thing, a kind of a Nathan house, and it was in double times in Irish, and it was called a BT. B is food, and T is the house, and a food house, you know. And there was English visitors touring Ireland, and they were off touring in them days, but they couldn't get any place to have a meal. And they were friends of the Queen, Queen Victoria, but they're friends of the Queen of England anyway. And someone directed them when they finished to try the Congo, and they got a fine for either. And they were so delighted with themselves that when they're going away, they called them on the side and asked them to know could they grant them a favour or anything they could do. And if they said anything, they said we'll get the Queen to send you a what would you call it? A license. License. It was a public house license.
Yeah.
To grant you a license.
Oh, yeah.
And she sent in her license. And they had it there for years, the two old men. They had it there in a shoebox in such a queer place. They had it by the side of the in the hob. There used to be a hole in the hobs in them time beside the fire. And then beside the fire they had it, and when special people would come. My cousin Winnie now that was telling me this. She was right here where I am. She said that she see it a few times. The what would I call it? The certificate.
Oh, right, yeah. Of the license, whatever.
The license, yeah.
The
license, and it's signed by the Queen.
Jeebers, with the official stamp, the whole lot.
The official stamp.
And I suppose
I asked Liam about it, but don't you know with all those fellas, you mean with a man, they looking for money and looking for this, looking for that. They went here and went there, and if you'd ask him, he wouldn't know where it was.
Yeah. They had lost anyway.
Well, he didn't exactly say that at last, but he didn't know where it was.
Yeah.
But that's one story. But anyway, which was the first pub in the district anyway.
And you're going back now?
I'm going back to 1816.
God almighty.
1816 they were granted that license.
Oh.
Are you keeping all that in your head?
I am kind of, but prior to that it was kind of like a shebeen, was it? Or?
Twice. Twice. They were little nothing doing anywhere, like, you know.
They were
directed today that they might get a theatre.
Oh yeah. They were doing grub, but you have to be only the ordinary family, you know.
Oh, sure, it was only the ordinary grub.
They could have any house would have nearly done, but sure, I suppose that was at least.
I'll tell you another one now. Well, Flannery Bent was much the same way, you know. I remember when I go to school, Flannery's, the middle door there, hotel was wrote in a circle around about Hotel, you know. From there, around about there, hotel. They're kind of a hotel.
In Flannery's?
Yeah.
Where's that?
Flannery, you don't know Flannery, the Rising Sun, where the Rising Sun is now.
Yeah, over there, is it?
Yeah, well, in the very middle door there, the very middle of it.
That was the hotel?
That was the hotel. And you know whether they were English or what they were, the tourist comes every day anyway. And our Flannery was a great man, you know. He'd tell you anything. Of course, he had a big farm across his way, and the calf died that morning, and this Paddy Quigley was working there, and he buried the calf. And Hayse, he thought of it, and he said to him, you know, would they wait for a while like that? Were they in a hurry? And they were in no hurry at all. And he said, we could have a little bit of a dinner for you. What would you like? Wouldn't a little bit of veal be nice? The veal would be calf, you know.
Yeah.
He called your man, and he said, Pat, he says, will you go up there? He says, and that calf you buried, he says, will you bring down a limit for him? He says, and crop quarter, he says, and bring it down and wash it well, and bring it in. And he went, he cooked for him. Nice and fresh.
Wouldn't you think they'd have nearly ate it anyway?
Huh?
Wouldn't you think they'd have nearly ate it anyway themselves?
Oh, I don't know now, sir.
Well, but so you
I
reckon?
don't know what to happen.
You reckon Liam's story of mightn't be? It's only kind of what he heard. He reckons RTE came out around the same time and they had a telly, and they should be all anyone they'd be calling in to look at the carry on out for them. And then it was a case of, are you going to the Congo? There was no name over the door before that. You'd be saying to a fella, didn't you, going down to see the Congo?
Huh? Much more than that, you. I remember when I was a young lad, straight over the door. The door was different that time to flat. There was a flat canopy over it, and standing there was the license. The man's name was he was Nicholas Nolan. And I can remember spelling the name Nicholas, N-O-W. We were Nolans before we were Nolans, you know. And those people they were Nolans, and my grandfather they were Nolans. And it was only in my time there, before my time they changed it to Nolan. However, they got too polite. But what was I going to say to you?
You were going to say about the name, maybe.
Oh, the name. It was Nicholas Nolan, licensed to sell spirits, beer, I mightn't have it right now, and all I can always remember was be it snuff and tobacco. The snuff and tobacco is a two attendant. You know the two in one at all now.
Yeah.
You have to be licensed to sell snuff and tobacco.
All right. But would he have only heard that somehow?
In 1939 or 40, there was a fella in Hayse. He actually painted the ships in Fynes Harbour. Fynes was going good at the time.
Yeah.
He was married to one of the dear so he came here on holidays. We got a fella that liked to drink, but sure, the ones down here, they went into bed soon as they give him a drink. Because his father was out with me, and he painted even the car belonged to him, striped and all. Here, and a lovely gentleman was. He would get into the Congo anyway, because he arrived over looking for a board for me, and he got a board to suit him, and he printed board. It was a lovely job on it.
Printed?
Which that board itself now had went as well. It's like everything else when they had nothing else to do, they burned it.
What did he put on the board?
He put on the board what was in the old board. Not exactly, I don't know now whether he put the same thing or not, but he put Nicholas Nolan license to say whatever it was.
That was back in the 40s or 50s, wasn't it? Or something?
In the 39, the war,
yeah.
39, 40 it was.
Yeah. So it must have been.
And he put back the lesson the same as it was. I mean, Nicholas Nolan.
But it was gone well into the 60s, or it was gone in. It was early 60s, so they put Congo on it, did they?
Oh yes, the Congo did on it. I know, but that still stood from the very, all the way along, like the license was renewed every year.
Oh, I know, yeah. The license would be fine.
Sure, there was nothing. But the Congo came out of nowhere, because they couldn't, you know, and only ended the post by coming up and they christened the Congo, and then there's no bother get a name, like, they got the name of the Congo.
No bother, yeah, that's how it stuck.
Well, you haven't an awful lot of information going on.
I know, but like, the reason I came, because I said to myself, just in case it was something to do with, maybe there was a couple of soldiers up here and I'd want to leave them out of it.
Oh yeah.
And I have nearly all there's only about 4 around, 3 in fact.
Oh, there was out in it?
From around, yeah. You have Mckenna, Doyle and Day. I met Day is still alive, I met him today.
Yeah. Well, sure, the wire was in it now.
From where?
From Killeen beyond there.
Sheila?
3 or 4 miles over the road, he's buried. You don't know that the wire's of Killeen, he'll be there, uncle. We hauled the wires there in the big home place. Big mansion of a house. It's a half bottle down there some years ago. And Pat and John. You know, 3 boys there in it. But the 2 girls, one of them married to Butler, to Tom Butler. You know him around.
Tom Butler, the fellow with the trucks?
Tom Butler. No, he working inside in the milk.
No.
No, him no.
Mike have a friend there, Tom Butler.
Tom Boone, huh?
A friend he'd be calling to Mike.
Oh, yeah, that's the man.
Is that him?
That's him. He wouldn't be anywhere.
Thought he'd a truck.
He wouldn't be that.
Thought he'd a lorry.
Huh?
Thought he used to drive a lorry, a gravel lorry or something.
Oh, no, the man you must be thinking of it is down there, so you know him well. Past, what's his name, down in the van. The daughter is married to me. Ryan's daughter.
No, Fox you're thinking of.
Fox, yeah.
No, but there's a butler as well. Unless he's changed his job, I always understood. I don't know, I am mixing him up.
Oh, yeah.
I bet you but you reckon he mightn't be that good to trace anyway, is it? Was it, you reckon it's his uncle, so... was out in the Congo.
Oh, no.
Who would be the best fellow to go down to and ask a son still alive, obviously?
No, but from very much. They have a very sick child this way. They should gone to Dublin. The whole family went up last night. A week ago.
I will. I love you after you. You're heading away again.
I know, I'm not.
You only have to. I see you only come back there with the van. In a van.
Oh, I did, yeah. I goes for a drive.
In the minibus.
I goes for a drive to Nana.
Yeah, I was over there talking to
road of service.
Liam. Huh?
You know the road of service thing.
Oh, right, sure. Why not?
Why not available?
Why not? He's right.
I said don't be going much longer. To make out towards next.
I tend to save money.
No, can't you come up and think up there?
So aren't you going away?
I'm going away.
Well, you weren't too bothered what you were doing.
I know.
Yeah, sure.
I have a more to call to.
Well, it was the finishing of this anyway, but I was going to go up to Keith there now. He's a fellow up there at the back of the hill. On a different issue.
Keith who?
Keith Sheehan, he's from Limerick. You hardly know him. He's down by the Long Stone.
Down by the Long Stone?
Just the third house on the left when you go down that little road there.
The third house on the left?
They're all new, sure, all the houses.
Oh, Jesus, they are. 1, 2, 3. And would you have to go down to the bottom, down past the Long Stone?
No, you wouldn't. No. They're all there together.
They're all there together?
Three of them there together.
Oh, I see. Yes, you know more than I know.
Well,
I don't know anything. They're all new, like.
They're all new, yeah.
Yeah.
And
what are you getting from him?
I'm getting nothing for him. He's only talking about motorbikes, to be honest.
Oh.
To him. We'd been messing around there with all the bikes, must have been himself.
I see.
You know.
And is there someone else now with a bike? Or I thought I had something about a motorbike. Did he get hurt or did he die?
Up this way?
Oh yeah, and he had a great funeral.
Yeah. Well, there was a rake of bikes over there, wasn't there?
Where?
Wasn't there a rally? You must have seen an awful load of bikes.
Oh, I did. I see that all right, but this is only in the last week. They gave him a great funeral. You don't know who he was?
I don't.
And he could be near enough to hear now. I don't know who he was, but when you hear him talk...
He got killed off the bike.
God, I don't know what that's saying. Yeah. Not exactly. You might hear it in your travels.
Oh, nice.
He's a great wonder factor, I don't know.
Nice, yeah, he might know. Yeah. I know, I'll share up his sort of thing, Jim, I'll leave you off.
Right.
Driving. And I'll give you an old shout again someday.
Fine.
We'll trace something.
Yeah.
Good luck. See ya. Mikey Tobin, if he's available, featuring Mikey Shanahan and his dogs. Yes, you're all attacking it.
What's the only chance we're going to get?
I know, sure. Under pressure myself because I'm only an Arbling. I ended up in Drake. Mikey, do you know what? I was doing an old article. I'm going to do an article on the Congo in the local book. And were you out there or where were you?
Yeah, I was out there, yeah.
Yeah, because you're the only other person around. Chris's father, my wife's father was there.
Was there, yeah, that's right. We was out there, yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I was out there, actually.
What year?
Yes, you'll have to look it up now. To tell you the truth, I couldn't think of hand so long ago.
Jesus.
So, that's why I have to look up that now.
I'm after contacting Collins Barracks in Cork.
Yeah.
Didn't I get the dates for Jack Doyle and Mikey Mckenna?
Yeah.
Jesus, I know you told me a story about that years ago.
Yeah, I was out there. Yeah, that's a lifetime ago now.
Yeah. Were you in the early batches or the middle of the late?
I'd be in the middle, around the middle somewhere, I'd say.
Middle.
Yeah, has to be around the middle. Yeah.
Were you out around the time of that? There was a couple of old. There was an ambush.
I was after that.
After the ambush.
I went. Yeah.
And were you after the siege?
I was after that as well. I think I was the next battalion after that.
Huh?
I think we're the next crowd after. I think we're the 35th we were.
35th. By God, if you were the 35th, so the 36th was Mckenna.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, he seemed to be it was only 6 months duty, was it?
That's right, yeah.
Well,
6 months, yeah.
He seemed to be coming back. Yeah. Sorry, he seemed to be going out when Jack Diles was coming back. But yet Jack Diles was called the first company or the first something. It wasn't the 34th anyway.
No.
How did they?
Well, I don't know how they worked out because these battalions they were made up battalions. We were out of the whole country.
Okay.
They weren't just out of one like in the Curragh where I was stationed.
Yeah.
We had the 3rd Battalion.
Yeah.
It was the 3rd, but it was never out there as the 3rd Battalion. There was companies of them out there.
Okay.
But then we were all put together. They were put into one battalion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think the 35th. I'm sure it was the 35th. I was saying, yeah.
Yeah.
So you were only for 6 months, and then you kind of forgot it, then, and that was it. And so.
Was there anyone else around? Would say, do you know?
John D. was I Captain Moore. No, John.
Would say the fellow that throws the sheaf, famous fellow for throwing the sheaf, would be his father.
No. I tell you, I know where he lives though. You know, as you go from Captain Moore, out through Captain Moore, going up to Newport.
Yeah.
You know how you branch off to the right? The right, yeah, going to go up into Newport. You know, as you're going into Limerick Road.
Yes.
And then you branch up to the right to go up to Newport.
Will you end up going up to the 5 roads first?
No, you don't go that far at all. No, go out
before that.
Go out by the Technical Captain Moore.
Yes.
Right, out that way.
Yes.
And there's a branch going out there then from Maru, going up to the right.
That's the first one.
That's the first branch. And he's right on the corner. He lives there right on the corner.
Actually, near the church?
No, just out the country.
Oh.
You go out that road, out past the Technical Captain Moore.
Yes.
And keep going until you see a sign from Maru. Mm-hmm. A road goes up there to the right. Mm-hmm. You take up into Maru. Mm-hmm. And he lives just on the corner. There's a cottage there just in the corner. I think he actually lives in a bungalow now.
The corner of just after you go around.
After you branch off, we say.
After you branch off.
The road for Limerick, the boat is down that way.
Yeah, I suppose you'd be calling it.
Listener Gray, you go down that way, Listener Gray. Frank or something. But long before you come to that, the first road going up to the right is from Maru. It branches off to the right. Mm-hmm. And he lives right there on the corner. Matter of fact, I see him today. I was up in the boat this morning. I seen him. He was up there. He's cut a bit.
Was he actually there?
He was. Oh yeah.
Oh
he
yeah.
was out there. Yeah, he was in the Congo. Yeah. Oh, do you know what? He was in what's it called? He was stationed in Sarsfield's barracks in Limerick, I think.
Yeah.
And I don't know what battalion he was in.
Yeah.
He was out there.
You must have been fairly young.
Oh, Jesus, I was very young them days, yeah.
Yeah.
I was very young.
So, I mean, there are a lot of them dead now.
Yeah, most of them are freaking dead.
Do you know what I mean?
It's frightening.
No. They'll be all around 80.
You mind them? I was sitting to myself down one night, I was counting up all the fellas I went to school with. Then they're all fucking dead.
Yeah?
The whole lot of them.
John Doherty knows the oldest fellow in the Borean.
Who?
John Doherty knows the oldest fellow in the Borean.
There you go.
He's only
Jesus,
young.
I'll tell you one thing. I was just thinking, I came out there yesterday. Poor Johnny Roddy's missed now. There'll be no going in there after another while. Just closed in both sides. That fucking Borean.
Oh, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I bet you have to drive the middle now when you go with the scooter.
And he wouldn't pass anything on it now.
Not even with the bike.
Not at all. Not even. Jeez, no, I came out with a tractor out there yesterday. Jeez, I hope I'm meeting that here. Because you wouldn't know how far you can go in or how far you can't go in.
He kept it fairly tidy.
Yes, he kept it right, but you could never say the dike there, no trouble.
Yeah. You could. But I remember you telling me some sort of a story about, I don't know, were you along in some railway station and what tribe it was?
Oh, the Balubas.
The Balubas.
Yeah,
They ate in some sort of.
They were the boys. Now we were stationed mostly around Elizabethville. We were down the place. I suppose the names of the place have changed. Now we started in a place called Lipoville, and then we moved about 1,000 miles across the country up to Lipoville.
Lipoville. There was one place there on the hill to pronounce it properly. Oh, jeepers. Hold on a minute. I might.
Tanga or some fucking place.
No. There was a ville was at the end of it.
Yeah. Oh, Lipoville. That's the one.
Lipoville.
Yeah.
Is that the one I was trying to do?
Could be Lipoville.
No,
yeah.
Jaddotville.
Oh, Jaddotville. No, I haven't.
Am I saying that right?
You could be, yeah, because I wasn't there. No, I wouldn't know this right.
Jaddotville. That's where the siege was.
Open. That's right. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. But Jabers. Yeah. I didn't. And so yourself and Day. So what name would you be? Because if I give them your name now, again down in, if I email your man back, because he said I'd have to be related, but I wasn't related to Mckenna, and he gave me his.
Today.
He didn't give me much details. No, he wouldn't give you an address or anything.
No, you see, you're onto the Southern Command there now. You may not get me in the Southern Command. I was in the Colour Command.
Oh right, yeah.
So a different command altogether.
What do they call him? They're records. I know a soldier. I know a soldier from John Paul's his name. He's inside in Limerick, and it was he that put me onto the fellow in Cork.
Yeah.
And there's a historian inside in Limerick. All right, I emailed him. I got no message back off of him yet.
So, well, Dino and is the only one I know from around here, and the chap in Capmore.
Yeah.
Or was there two in Capmore? There was one.
Well, you had Mckenna and Dial, but they were separate. They were separate.
There'd be separate units, but they were both in Capmore.
Yeah. They were, and
you see, they were off. All them lads from the Southern Command.
Yeah, and I see two fellas from was it Twas two fellas from and they both got shot accidentally. Wasn't that weird? And they weren't like, it wasn't the same day. It was
different days.
There might have been a week or two between them, but I thought, Jason, that's fair. Huh?
It's very easy to get shot accidentally.
Would it be? Why would they be calling friendly fire? What would that be?
Well, that's accidental fire.
Friendly fire.
Yeah,
would it be the other? Would it be one of their own men? Like
one of their own men would have shot him. Yeah, friendly
fire.
Yeah, that's friendly fire. If you see somebody take a shot and you think it's the enemy, for instance, you think it's, and it could turn out to be one of your own men, so you have to be careful.
And the fuckers, they'd be spread out too far.
They'd be spread out. You see, you might see some fellow where you think there was none of your fellas, and then you take a shot at him and kill him, and that'd be friendly fire or wound him.
Jeez, that's a pain in the arse.
So that's a pain in the arse.
Just fair. The ATA boys must have been told for drifting into the wrong place.
Yeah, I tell you, and it happens an awful lot in armies. It happens, yes, it did. See, the Yanks there, they killed the Brits out there in the Desert War. Friendly fire. There's no fucking good. You're still dead.
I know. And there was another fella that got blown up. He's from under the Galties over there.
Yeah.
There's a Maru over there, or there's a Boher over there as well.
There is over that country, yeah.
And I read, and he was, what was he? An armoured car. You don't remember that one?
No.
Because there was only 20 out of the 6,000 that went out from Ireland. There was only 20 26 kids
Killed them.
died altogether.
Yeah. They didn't all die. Some of them died in road accidents.
As well.
As well, yeah. They
put
did accidents, you know.
They put it into it.
Yeah.
But it was a good. And your men. Do you ever remember that story, like the siege at Jetterville?
I do indeed, yeah.
And it was all trying to brush under the carpet.
That's right, yeah. I remember that well, yeah. Your man, he surrendered there.
He did.
Well, I don't know whether he should have surrendered or not. Some say he should have, and more say he shouldn't have.
If he shouldn't, they'd have been all killed.
Well, I doubt it, because if you read a little bit about it there,
yes.
They attacked him at one stage. The local gendarmerie that they were fighting with, they attacked him, and they opened up with them with a Vickers machine gun.
Right.
And I mean, they all cleared off. They just skeleton back to where they started. So if he had held out, I think the biggest trouble he had there was he was short of food more than anything else.
That's what happened. That's probably why they had to.
I think water and food he was kind of shagged for that. And I suppose, I mean, with war UN troops, he probably didn't see the sense that fellas dying for fuck all, maybe.
Yeah.
You know, so maybe he did the right thing. I don't know, like, but a lot of people didn't like him for that.
They didn't. But he got recognised there in 04.
Oh yeah.
They put up a plaque.
For
the whole, because he saved everyone. Not one of his men died.
No, he did. Well, fair enough, one fella nearly died. The fucking what's it called, came in and bombed them. And our fucking small fighter plane that they had. He came in and he fucking dropped some bombs.
Yeah.
And he managed to side in the fucking foxhole. And then the foxhole get covered in when he dropped the bomb like here, and the foxhole was over there. And the fucking all the clay came up and covered the man inside the foxhole. But they dug him out quick enough to save him.
Jeez. Did you read that?
I did, yeah. No, I read that, yeah.
Where would you, what book? Had you books on it?
No, I haven't got a book. No, I read that someplace, so I can't remember where, but I remember that, reading that bit about it. He was lucky above it. Because you could have easily been left in the foxhole, because when there's a plane flying overhead, and you're in a foxhole, you get covered in, there's nobody, the other foxholes will be sticking their head up too quick to see where you are. So he was very lucky, like.
Jesus Christ, huh?
Yeah.
And were you in the army long before that and after that, we'll call it?
I was in a long time, yeah. I was in, when I joined the army there was no Congo. There was that. We all had to volunteer to go to Congo. They couldn't, nowadays you can send you, but nowadays you couldn't send you had to actually volunteer to go.
Yeah.
So there was no compulsion to go out there, you know.
Yeah. So. Yeah. But you'd be under Tobin, or what would...
Tobin, oh God, yeah, Mikey Tobin, yeah.
Michael, I suppose, would it be?
Yeah, Michael, yeah.
Fucking... So, I'll see if there's any...
Sure.
We're down today for the crack, and... Sure, it'd be nice to mention all the local fellas. Like.
Yeah, that's the only fella I know is John Dean and the two lads in Capmore.
You wouldn't ever go to Cyprus after that, no?
No, I was out before then.
Oh, were you?
Yeah, I was out then.
Oh, was Cyprus gone into the 70s, or what was it?
I think Cyprus was in the 70s. I was in England then, I think.
Oh, no, it's a 2 or 3 masses.
Yeah, that's I don't think.
She was the evening mass and she was the 9 o'clock. She was to 11 o'clock.
We've got a line from the swing mines down to Russia down to that trouble. After that, they had 2 rates of pay, the ESB them days. You had country rate and town rate.
Oh.
And we were on town rate. And town rate was 15 quid a week. And country rate was 7 quid a week. So that was fine. When we finished that job, we went back into the yard. The man called us inside the yard one evening and says,
do you know
Friday night, he said, you're going down to Armagh
Mike Ryan
fines. So we said, fine.
You know Mike Ryan
no, he said, you're going back on country.
He's a son of Mike Ryan Roddy's.
And you have to make your own way down there.
I met him last night. And I don't know did you actually even know him.
I said, no way. So
he's a brother, I'd say he's a brother of your man that owns the chip shop.
I headed off to England.
That's it, Johnny Ryan.
The following Wednesday he was above the house.
He's a brother of his.
Oh, one of them. I'm there.
I'm lucky.
Oh, my.
You're calling your bluff.
Yeah.
I called his bluff, but
you called
mine.
bluff.
I was gone anyway, so I'll tell you what, back Tom Bryan, you might know Tom. Yeah, he lived down there in near the Cranbrook.
But he didn't know that he was a Ryan Roddy.
Jim Horton did one. Yeah, Jimmy Horton.
His son
is... lads went back, they were with him for years.
Involved in the... You know the band, Leisure, Side Doing.
Tom met her
Tony Maher and all them young was his son to be knocking around with him. Doing the sound for him. Where did you go in England?
I was in London, Northampton.
We're chatting away after, and next thing they have, I was from Bilbo and they shot quizzing me up.
I was in Paddington, in Harleston, in Willesden.
And then when we related this in the finish, why did you take the grass what was that?
Oh, I walked up there.
I don't know. I says, you know Johnny Ryan Road?
Gone there soon.
And he was on about the chip shop. I says, no, there's another Johnny Ryan Road. Didn't you own that and doing? Or does he still own it?
Oh, I know. No, that's Chinese now.
Yeah, but I'm there.
Oh, I don't know.
I looked in there.
I did. I know there's one of them was Heinz there on your day.
Yes, he was at last. He just killed me. Oh, fuck, I never know.
I was trying to explain to him.
I won't tell you, I don't read my name.
Yeah.
That is because
you don't fully know his answers. He mentioned where did you come over in the first place? I see how far you back to up. He mentioned Wexford and over that country. He kind of mentioned Wexford.
Yeah.
Jesse was not from
I
that.
sure Allah hadn't left.
Would you blame him?
No, we'll go back down.
And Ronnie was one of them. He ran
I'm
on.
guessing how far back this was.
Well, you wouldn't go
Farther
out
than Lahinch.
I'll tell you what you want to do.
They were rare then than any catties on me. Company. You were not talking about the centre like that.
And he was interested in you.
Sure,
one of us,
the
Rory was there
go back
first.
to the back of the class and there was no interest in you. And now and then he comes down and asks you a question. You didn't know he'd be the shit. We're sending Johnny Murray in there.
Stella is his aunt anyway, Johnny.
We've been there together.
That's what he said.
Swapping stamps all day. Looking at our stamps.
Jody, Dolly, I
Johnny used to collect stamps and I used to collect it. Yeah, we swapping stamps and trying to do bargains with each other. And we supposed to be in London. Then I gave a lot of my time just down here in the walk. Lay down the head of us.
No. I was actually in the ancestors of the Ryan Road. I was saying, how far back could he go?
So they were going to send me to the
history about here.
I was pre-talking.
Well, he didn't seem to know anything about his house. The house outside of schools. He knew Derby Hayse for some reason.
Put me in there if I didn't go to school.
Well, you have that.
Maybe I'd have to go for a while.
I say no, I think they should come out
down the road that time.
Oh, Jesus.
yours or something like that.
Jim Deere, Paddy Deere,
Got just another one.
and Jim and Paddy and Lard, the three of them are dead. Sean Morrissey Blow, he's dead. Breda Coffey, she's dead. And fuck, there's a load of them there. Top of here, Margaret Smee, she's dead.
I don't know.
Yes, there's a load. There's a whole thing. I can't remember one. There's a load. Most of them are dead now.
Did you ever remember the story of someone cutting off in the middle of the morning? I think it was. Was one did Linz? One did Linz, was it?
No, what's it called? Jack Welch.
Your brother Johnny's, yeah?
Jack, down in school.
His father is Johnny as well, that's all I know.
Fucking mad, but it was. You the fucking people who were using that, like, fucking, it was only a pat them days in and out.
Right. But he's
I used to draw timber into the glen, you're only young for that.
Yeah.
And that was one of my jobs when I went back to the so-called school. I would go down. Because the timber being in my back about the next morning. Well, you know. Yes, I did that, but I couldn't get through. He had trough piled up on both sides. Oh, down Foss Cover, yeah. He had a trough piled up on both sides of the road. You walked into it, you went down in it. I had to go into the field, come down along the inside, come back out again, until down, dried a bit, and I had to walk across it.
Pure laziness. There was a handy bank there and he decided to cut into it.
No, he was no back there on the road there. He was just being off looking for trouble. That's all it was. There was no way you could cut tough down spread it. You cut it off, what you doing? You had a pile over both sides of the you couldn't spread it.
But you managed to stop him anyway, did you?
Johnny stopped him. Johnny was the only one.
Yeah.
Johnny already handled him.
I don't think he was that known his son, was he, this fella?
Johnny called
But I met that man, I don't think he was.
Andy Murphy's.
And he fucked him in over the ditch there on top of him.
No, because I was trying to explain who you were, and I
Johnny was a fair cross man.
there
Johnny was a lovely man.
or so ago.
I wouldn't like to cross him. No, Johnny was my best friend really around here now, sure.
So, I says,
Well, I think he was
that
saying
was
that once
connection with Bill was so.
that Derby Hayes was with him
Where is he still living around?
down the road. As he said, they were way late.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, well, I don't know that now.
Don't even tell us this is we're all going up like the way we wouldn't go away to get into fights.
See, the son was living in the same house as him.
And
What's his son's
what do you
name?
call it?
What's his son's name?
It had Derby a shtick.
Connor.
And Johnny and Derby was to get on two Welches. And Johnny says, Derby froze, he says, that he couldn't get the stick out of his hand for to use as a weapon. And he ended up, I think he put one of them up in the ditch anyway. You know.
You were talking to that fella?
wouldn't toss it. There's few people tossing that man. You know, he was a very quiet man.
Stoutish, yeah, and I see he was blind one. Yeah, because we got into some sort of a fight once. I don't know where it was. Anyway, and he was. Yeah, and his wife, she seemed to have a and it's kind of friendly, given out but Noni goes, he kind of goes, you can't be, you and this and Noni goes, what about the fellow the Welsh you put up in the day? Oh, sure. It was probably another 15 years before we had the rest of the story. Absolutely mad. Do you know? No, I remember that whole myself because the cow, maybe going in with the cows. One of the cows would walk into that and they go down so low, they're back at only that height, and you could sit up with them nice and handy. You could nearly stay on them for a while.
But everybody used that.
But that would have been the remainder. But everything else was cut away back through the years.
That was actually the road. I mean, he dug away the surface of the road and took from one side. He cut his top, he turned his top up the surface. It's like that bastard was.
I put you he brother Bob's, did he?
What?
Was he a brother
Bob's? Yeah, they lived down there together. And Jack was a big man. He thought he was a big man. So I remember a man about 2 or 3.
No, I don't know now.
Dawson was.
Did he make that connection?
Couldn't get both
related to the fellow that owned the pub he was in as well.
Jack Dale come up and ask him to fucking will he do it?
I'd say to young Connor next time I meet him down here.
Jack was going down there one morning.
Because you couldn't store inside that pub. Well, I know about the other pubs now. But by the time there was some told that pub.
Story short, but he told Jack, he said,
inside and outside, beer garden everywhere. Wow, how do you call it? The smoking area.
I won't walk.
I'm telling you now.
But you'll have to give me a touch.
Unreal. There's an opportunity to him from the street all the way down to the back.
He was boycotting that.
It take you about 10 minutes to get through the crowd.
What happened was he overdrew his
no. But they make out him. No,
I know it was.
You don't see a massive crowd down New Year's Eve in general.
Fucking 4 or 5 years money drawn. And Jack stopped paying. He said until the 4 or 5 years you paid, you paid it off. And that's when the trouble started. But old Dawson, he was a fucking old pig himself and all, like your man's up there now. He was a stubborn old fucker, and he got the better of old Jack. And you two try and stubborn men together, so what you expect? So I said, fucking, they fought it out anyway, the two. But Jack lost.
Is the night horse.
He was a funny man, Jack.
Yeah, I mean, Bill something through to when he was on the GA.
You know that Danny
Dawson?
Yeah.
I thought he trained
I was kind of there when I was only a fucking kid. But they walked at 13 bro, since I never really lived there after that.
And Johnny always cut his hair. Johnny was a kind of a hairdresser. He was only filled with a machine, as they say.
Around, yeah.
A machine, a hair machine. Yeah, he used to cut his hair.
I remember you mentioned for old Derby. I remember when I used to go up the road there with Derby. Or not with Derby, with Jim Road. Jim used to graze his cows along that far road, I did for years. Along there, he turned them down, don't touch them. They'd be grazed away there all day. And Jim would come down, he'd turn up the cows and take them up to his own house in Milton. Darby came down the road up there near Jimmy Green's gate. Darby came down the fucking road on a bicycle. And Jim had a stick in his hand for pushing the cows along. And I didn't know nothing. And all of a sudden, as Darby was going by, well, Jim made a fucking run him. I tumbled him, the bike, the whole fucking knocked into the dike. I started wailing with a stick. And I was standing on my boat up, what's going on here? And the next thing, for old Darby anyway, Darby tried to, he got up, he managed to get up anyway, he got the bike, and he ran with the bike, and he fucking went to jump up the bike, and he fell over to the side of it, on the bit of the road now. And chances are on that, though, Jim was winning at the time I got those sticks. I was very killed for old fucking Darby.
What was it over?
No, I never asked. I have no idea what it was over. You couldn't ask nothing, you couldn't ask Jim nothing.
No, you don't know. He'd be alright. He'd be fine.
Oh, he'd attack you. So I walked with Jim an awful lot now, and I always gone on with Jim. He used to abuse me. I don't mean abuse me, but give out to me, But I used to, for some reason, I used to take no offence when he used to give out. You always, when you're young and something you go to, you say, fuck you, But I never was like that with Jim. I always went back to the next day. I remember being blown in the middle, with piked hair. And he gave me £1. He was going to pay Jim now. Jim gave me £1. I was great days paid that day. And he said, where you go? I said, I'm going into this Capmore now. He says, I suppose you're going into drinking. And I was.
But were you up in this? Were you 16, 17?
Just yeah, about 16 maybe. 17, maybe 17. Just before I went to the army.
Just a fair ball of money.
It was a great ball.
You must be working for a week.
Working for a day.
Is that all?
That's all, yeah, £1 a day. That was £1 a day. And put on Jim.
Where is his brother?
Yes, he gave me enough.
His nephew.
See, I didn't know the medical level was hanging over me.
From down the Revenue.
What the fuck? He says, you're going to go and drink. He says, your poor mother nothing. Oh, just carry on.
And did Jim, did he ever mention when he was living in there? Or no, he never lived in there.
Yeah,
his mother did.
His mother did. I remember living in there, yeah. You know the little house as you're going there where on the left-hand side, there's nothing left there now. I drank tea in that.
It should be lovely.
Yeah. And I remember Johnny's house, when it was only got a nice house, and like day in there, there were dressmakers.
And I suppose, do you remember anyone living in the house?
Johnny Bryan. If you went down here to the bridge, he lived up there in Carnarvon. And if you went to the bridge with me, and he had, you know the old bathtubs he had long ago, one of them, and he had it at the bridge down here full of water. And if you went, whoever come down the road, you catch one side and bring it up to the house. Johnny Bryan, yeah. Johnny, and I mean Penny Roddy living there.
Was that his mother?
Who's
Penny Roddy? Who's Penny Roddy?
Penny, I don't know, Penny, yeah, he was a man, he lived there.
Oh, Penny?
Penny, yeah. Penny, I don't know his name, Penny or somebody used to call
He lived there?
He did, yeah. And he went to England from down to there. I think he got killed in England.
Yeah, it was a small house.
Oh, wait a minute, no, you're hardly talking about Jim Roddy's father, no?
No.
He was
Curry.
Curry, yeah, no, you're right, Curry. No. This is, you know, Penny.
No, the gate where the captain gate.
Married.
Yeah.
And they went to
Mad
England.
bungalow there.
But you would say, what was Mikey, what was Johnny Bryan's mother's name?
I have no idea.
But she'd have been, she was married.
That was Bryan's up there anyway. I know that was Johnny Bryan's house. We always called that Johnny Bryan's house.
Yeah, that was Bryan's, yeah, but his mother was Roddy.
That's right, yeah.
His mother was Ryan Roddy.
Yeah.
But you reckon there was more Roddies living there besides that?
Paddy was living there after that. He'd be there. He'd be probably a relation of his.
He'd have to be.
He'd have to be, yeah. And Paddy lived there.
But was he out? Was he like out? The next generation above Jim or below him?
I'd say he'd be the same run as Jim.
Same run as Jim.
Same run as Jim, I'd say. Yeah, he would be. Yeah. Because I would have looked at him as old, but he wasn't old at all for us.
No, sorry, Johnny Bryan. Would he be the same run as Johnny Bryan, or should they were all the one?
They were all the one. Yeah, he would be. Yeah,
I can't figure that out.
No, Johnny might be a bit older. No, Penny would be younger than Johnny Bryan. I can't remember what happened to Johnny Bryan now.
No, Johnny Bryan went to England.
Did he?
And then he came back and he died in Capmore. So.
Did he?
He did. So I bought the land off him. I bought the site off him.
One bit lower. Johnny Bryan. Was he Johnny Bryan's father?
Johnny Bryan's father? Yeah, but he'd have to be Bryan.
Yeah.
Right. Robin was the roadie.
That's the roadie. He was Bryan. Yeah, that's what he's called, Johnny Bryan, wasn't it?
Johnny Bryan. But what were you calling the other fellow? Penny
Roadie.
That was the man.
That was the man, yeah, and he had a wife there, his wife's there with him. That's why I bet it, Penny went to England, and I think he would have worked on a farm in England, and I think years later he got killed off a tractor in England. But I'm not dead sure about that.
Because you see, when Jim Roddy's father left him, his grandfather left him.
Yeah.
Just his father. Yeah, Jim Roddy's father. When he went to England, he actually got, I think he got killed as well, or died. He'd have been Patrick Murray. Ryan Murray. Ryan Curry.
Was Timmy just behind us? Were you with Timmy?
Patrick. But of course they took the road and then the Currys. You know.
Did he connected with him? Did he?
Oh God, he was, yeah.
However, they done it years ago.
He would have been a first cousin of Johnny's. And
the hall was
you see the trouble, the confusement altogether then, Johnny Roddy's father and mother were first cousins. You see, one of them came from where Johnny was, the other one came from the little house. And when they lived over in.
That woman, didn't she live to 106?
No, but like years ago they had the four schools.
But she lived over in Johnny Luke's. Sorry, not in the Inch, but you know Johnny Luke's father.
There's the one
over there, yeah.
And
that's how they call the goathouse over some there, was it?
No, you'd have to go farther.
Go farther than that.
You'd have to go farther. Johnny Luke's wouldn't be over as far as that.
I don't know. They'd be the same crowd every night because they'd have
when they were living there, they had a house. When your man legged it, they lost the house. That's when she moved in here. But Jim, do you know where Jim went straight away? You probably know it. He working for the.
Could you hear it properly back there?
Not really.
No, Trussies.
Don't speak.
Johnny Roddy says he got his confirmation from there.
Yeah, did he?
That's what he's always.
That's what Jim Roddy.
Or Jim would work.
Jim would.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, Bill Tracy used to be great tug of war man.
Yeah?
I didn't know. I barely remember him. All I remember Bill Tracy was he was a big fat man, and you'd see him sitting in the legs of the car.
What big bell did you sound
A
that?
big man.
He's back this year again. No, he was away there last year when he was ill.
That's right.
Isn't that funny? And he's next door neighbour John Sheehy. That's where he went.
That's where he went. There you go. Now, yeah, that was him. Now there.
John was
That's the one for the bishop too.
This Tracy was awesome. He had bad legs.
Billboard today.
Yeah, very bad legs.
There was the Welshes down there. The Welshes, they were
might be different in the store.
the same fella now. He was supposed to be telling out for taking the fella had a bush in a gap. He'd take it in for fire. Handy
firewood.
And someone said he was robbing hay once.
Oh, for the bishop.
And some fella
I'd say you get one in him
in the snow.
In the snow.
And he took Maloney was telling me. Eamon Maloney. He said one time he took the hat.
Oh, I'd say you have no problem.
An iron bucket and it burning enough he took it away.
That was Bob Welch. This is Maloney.
Were they cousins? Jack and Bob.
They were brothers. What happened was they were looking at the coast in the garden, and they left the door of the house opened. And then Bob go into the fucking shovel, and he got the fire, and he coming out. Their door the fire, and Mrs. Maloney was coming out of the house with a bucket of milk. They were fucking, the chase took off. But he got away with the fire anyway. Just he was an awful man, Bob. He used to make me he used to meet Davy Reardon. And every time we were there, he used to compress himself. But Davy was the monks. Every time Bob would meet him.
What do you
fucking used to get to Davy.
Is it Davy below?
Davy Brother Cross.
The fella that's there now?
Yeah.
Was he a monk one time?
No, he was trained to be a monk.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. Sure, one of the stepsisters up there, she was a nun in America.
You couldn't only fit the whole school inside and half the size of this one.
Sheila Dawson.
Yeah. She's still alive. No, one of them died.
Oh, Mary died, yeah. She died very young. She died 40 years ago. She died.
Mary decent
in England, yeah.
She did.
No, Sheila, she's living down in, she's married down in West Limerick.
Do you know what? In time years or so, who's she married to?
McNamara. Lee McNamara.
Didn't I meet, when I used to be playing music, didn't I meet one of her sons one day? And when he heard I was from Calhoun, he talked on about the Dawsons.
Michael, one, I forget his name.
I think Johnny one of his young ones.
Did they come up from there?
He has, yeah, that's after his mother.
Oh, she was.
Awesome.
My mother was Sheila.
Oh, as well.
Yeah.
And
was all Sheila. Was one of the old women up there, Sheila?
No.
Molly and Lizzie.
Molly and Lizzie. There was two of them up there, and I tell you what, you wouldn't remember them, but I remember them well. Molly was a lovely woman, and that fucking Lizzie was a right way over woman. She used to she was a fight to God. I was coming out to Maureen one time with a calendar in my hand, and she was behind the fucking ditch, and I didn't know she was in there. And I was talking to myself. And she'd come up behind me, and she fucking, there used to be a grove in there halfway, and she beat me from that out to the fucking road with a stick. And that was okay. She wasn't happy with that. She came up over half an hour after we lived up there. And told Dolly to put me in a home, there's something wrong, and I was talking to myself. That's honest to God, she did.
Where was your house, Mikey, up there?
But you see that old hay barn up there, look. See that old hay barn out there, through the bushes?
Yes.
In there.
Oh, where is that? Don't build the wires.
House, yeah.
Don't build the wires, Maureen.
No, it's before you need across the stream, straight up. There's no ruins up there now, these are knocked out. I tell you what happened, there was a fine farmhouse.
How do you get it? Do you have to go in the steps to Shanklin?
You go in over the bridge.
And in there on your left?
And in to your left, up there. Yeah, that's where it was, yeah.
Yes, that's a good one.
That was a long time ago. But that was a fine old house, but Bob and Jack moved in there too.
There you go.
They did, and fucking they burned the stairs, and they burned the fucking upstairs in it. I used to sleep upstairs and I lived up there.
Out of pure laziness, they burned up.
Well, it's just a handy timber, wasn't it?
Handy timber.
They burned the fucking the floor, the loft, and they burned the stairs.
Maybe was that when they ended up? Did they get kind of evicted out of somewhere?
They weren't living there after school for years, and the fucking.
Of course, yeah.
I don't know what happened there. I assume the fucking school that fell down on top of us.
No, well then.
And then they built a charity house for Bob, wasn't there? Jack. I don't know if Jack was behind there at the Creamery Maureen. That place, they built that for him.
Paddy Power, I think, was involved.
Somebody built that for him, yeah. when they lived at the school there, we were youngsters going to school. One of our great sports of ours was throwing stones down Jack's chimney. And he'd come in and he'd attack Hayse. We used to love doing that.
Well, you could throw him across the road?
Across the road and down his fucking chimney. And you know, you have maybe...
was that the ruins of the old school or something?
It was, yeah. I think what it was, where they lived, I think it was the garage for Heinz's car, I believe, at one time. Or somebody's motor car anyway. I think it was Heinz's. And they moved into it, then he couldn't put his car in there. I don't know, my time he didn't have a car, he had a bike.
Yeah.
There was bastard, he used to come up there from Capmore every morning himself in the sun. And they get off the bikes below the bottom of the hill, and 2 or 3 of us would have to be there at the corner of the schoolyard waiting and watching for him. And we'd have to run down and bring up there 2 bikes. That's the story there. And if you didn't do that, it'd be a hell of a fucking mother, that'd be.
And you couldn't be below waiting.
Oh no.
As well.
But it should be it. You had to wait till you see him coming, and then you run down and pick up the 2 bikes. So that is a fucking load about bullshit. Like, you see, he was as far as I was told about him, what was 2 hours ago, he was an old Marine or something in the American Army one time.
Well, the other Heinz was anyway. Who was his son? Who you calling John?
Well, what was their name? Dennis Heinz.
And do you know Willie Heinz below?
I heard the Willie. Yeah.
Below beside the dispensary.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Is he a son?
I have no idea. No,
because he was in the American Army.
Yeah. He could have been, but John himself, I think, was in it. And well, he'd be above my around my age.
Definitely, he would.
Yeah, maybe a little bit older. He'd be much
around in it.
Yeah. He'd be up about 73 or 4 now, I'd say.
Yeah.
In age.
And what about what was your? Did you were you ever in that house there? What's it called? The Glynn.
Yeah, I was there. I was.
She used to have a nice garden, I believe.
Not in my time, she never had a garden. She never did fuck all that. She would have let that fella on top of him. She had done that.
Yeah.
The only thing I ever see him doing was riding Kitty Connell.
Kitty who?
It's true.
Kitty who?
The only walk I ever, Kitty Connell, not Kitty Connell. Kitty lives above where Murphy's are living now, and Johnny Connell.
And which one of them? Jimmy, the boy with the caravan.
I was only younger, well I wasn't that young, I was coming out there one day, just took Reno off the ditch above the corner up there. And I could see this bare ass ego like fuck, and I could walk out the bog road, and I had a few shouts at him.
Your one wasn't complaining, was she?
No, she fucking was quite happy with it, Kitty. Got a lot of less in the morning.
And was she old enough at the time? Like?
She was around his own age.
What age were they at the time?
At the time, they'd be probably in their 40s. Yeah. He was common or fucking good old.
Oh, Jimmy was.
And there's another thing, I remember they tell me when we lived above in Shannon, Mina Connors, did you ever hear of Mina Connors?
I did.
Mina used to come in what court deacons used to call it them days. And she used to come down maybe 3 or 4 nights a week down to the old house above with her mother. The old Dawson be gone down to, what's it called? He'd be gone down there to the brother, the Tommy's there.
Yeah.
And they'd be up there. But anyway, sometimes she'd stay late. But there was a man seen appearing above the top of Shannon Boreen, just above the Boreen there's a gap. And you see there, he was a big tall man, he used to have a hat on. He frightened the fucking, all the truck crowd were nearly afraid to come down the road. But Mina was an unusual woman in her own right. Anyway, Mina came out of our place one night about 1 o'clock in the morning. And she was up the road and she fucking got to the gap, there was your man standing in the fucking gap. And she went past him, Mina always carried a big stick them days at night. And she went past him anyway, 4 or 5 yards past him. And all of a sudden she went back to him and she laid him with the stick. And who was it? Jimmy. She beat the crap out of him down the road in front of her. He was never seen there again. But he had the life fright out of all the people the author as a ghost, because he had a big long black coat on him.
But you wouldn't always say.
And a big hat, and he was standing there dead still, he wouldn't move, wouldn't speak to no one. And he had a shit fright from all up there, but she sorted him out. She was a tough woman. She loved dancing. You know, she used to walk together white in her 70s for music, dance.
And where was her own house?
You know the pub above?
Yes, Hillside Lounge.
It was the first old cottage on the right hand side as you go up, above the Hillside Bar there.
After that?
Mickey Hickey? Oh no, it wasn't. It was the second one. There was a shop there, or just above that again.
Mickey Hickey's was the shop?
That's right. Or the next house above that was...
What you call him? He fell off the motor?
That was our son. That was mine son. That was Whalen. What's he called? What's his name? Whalen. What's his first name? See, he'd be way behind me. Johnny Whalen.
Johnny Whalen.
That was it.
What was his mother?
His mother. That was Mina Connors, was his mother.
Yeah,
his father came down from, what's it called? Came down from the Artane in Dublin as a young fella to walk. He walked above in, what was that dim crowd up the road? You know that fella cycles up and down the road on the bicycle all the time?
Tim Kindy.
Tim Kindy's. He walked to Tim Kindy's. And Kindies were underpaying him. They weren't paying him fucking pittance simply.
Yeah.
And as far as I know, somebody got onto Jim anyway, somebody across, somebody with a bit of brains, and told him that they should have been paying him a lot more, he should go and look into it, and he did. And he took it for thousands. And that's why they reckon now Kindy's farm went bust. Or Kindy could never go back to his feet after that, but he had to pay a lot of money to Jim. But he had him working there for years for basically slave labour.
And did Johnny Whalen's Jim? That's Jim Whalen.
Jim Whalen, yeah, that's Johnny's father.
And did he live to be old? Or did he die above there?
He did. Oh, he did. He died up there. Yeah, he did. He was good old age when he died. He was supposed to be well into his 60s or 70 maybe. Yeah.
Is he dead like since the 80s or the 70s?
I don't know when he died. See, I was gone for too long. Yeah, I was like, you see, when you go and come, you lose contact about it. Like I do have people salute me, and I don't like being ignorant to anybody, and I don't know who they are. I say, oh yeah, no, this, and it's very embarrassing.
I'm not quite sure who they are.
I'm not quite sure who they are, especially Capmore. I hate going to Capmore because people talk to me there, and I have no idea who they are, and I get very embarrassed, So
yeah.
I kind of have this sort of habit of saying, how are you? And I'll keep going, because I'm afraid to say anything else.
Yeah.
Which is very, very embarrassing.
But so yes, that's a good. And do you ever remember anyone in the houses across the road from Jim Whalen's? They're fierce ruins. They're only barely ruins.
I tell you who lived there now. Tom, what's he called him? Tom the Wire. And I tell you what, he ended up living above in Kyle. There's 2 cottages up in Kyle nearly the very end of the road, old cottages. He lived up in one of them. They moved from there over to Kyle. Danny the Wire, he was drowned down in Kerry or someplace swimming. Yeah.
What the wires is there? God, is there shielded wires up there in Kyle?
No, they're all got that there. No, there's a whole lot.
Just Mike, you know nearly as much as Johnny Roddy.
And I wouldn't know, because I was gone too long. And I tell you, who would be a great man over into all that. The band boy, he's your man.
Is he big up?
Jesus, he's the man. He could trace because he never left. He never left at all, and he could go back with you now.
He do some
he can do some tracing. Yeah.
Yes, I never thought of him now.
No, there you go. He's your man now. Yeah. He'd be the very man. But yes, he could trace more back. He could tell you their mothers and their fathers, and I was never kind of into that,
And we'll say Coffee's mother. What was her maiden name? You don't know.
Coffee. Just
not Coffee. Whalen.
Connors.
Connors.
His wife's name, not his mother, because he came out of an orphanage. Whalen came out of an orphanage.
There was only one of them, was there?
There was only one Jim there.
They had no family?
No, he had no family. He was an orphan.
So his father. That
was it.
His father. And his father was Whalen down from Dublin.
Jim. Yeah.
And the mother. What'd you say? She was Connors.
Connors, minor Connors.
From where?
Well, she lived up there.
But that was their own place.
Their home, so upstairs there. Yeah.
Jesus.
I don't know. You believe in fairies or ghost stories, and I don't particularly believe myself. But there's no list up there. In the way they all the cottages had a little bit of land. And over the bit of land, anyway, Jim was of course, from the time he left school, he was farming up there on the hill. And I suppose when he left there, he wanted to farm again. He got a couple of cows and that, but he wanted to make a bit of more land, and there was this list up there. And he filled it in, he cut it all down and filled it in. And I reckon he never had a fucking day's look after that. He went home and he got sick and he was never right again. Now, you can believe it or not, but some people believe it. I don't particularly believe it myself. I think it's coincidence, And I heard the same about this place over here, Tracy's. Tracy and Jack Deere. Remember Jack Deere?
Yes, I should.
Jack lived up above in Buffanoka. Jack was he was a funny old boy. He was cranky. But Jack and himself, they're covered in the list down there in front of the house. And I reckon the two of them got fucking sick. Jack got the staggers, and he had this, when he walked, he staggered. He looked like he'd be drunk at times. And the other fella, he went home and went to bed. He never really got out of bed.
Where?
Tracy himself.
What's a list to look at?
It's a hole in the ground. There's usually trees going around it.
Like if we call it a fairy list.
That's right. Yeah, fucking shot rabbits above and that one they're talking about. And took them home and put them in a pot with a finished. Jeez, I don't know. I never.
Well, yeah, I suppose shooting rabbits.
Yeah, but I have certain limits. Like I don't, like if I go into a grave and I won't disrespect it. That kind of stuff. I have special limits, but I don't believe in fairies that much.
Yeah.
But there is certain things I believe. You can have respect for things.
Oh, I'll tell you one thing. I wouldn't go in now and want any fair rings in quarter 3.
Would you not? No,
I wouldn't. I'd be saying you're only drawing it on yourself.
Well, this is it. You're saying.
You
see, I read something about superstition there one time, and they reckoned if you're not superstitious, the superstition will do you no harm. If you are superstitious yourself, it will do you harm. In fact, it's yourself that do yourself harm.
That's what's doing it, yeah.
That's what's doing it, yeah. So
that's a lot of it.
That's what they say about that.
Yeah.
And if you truly believe in something, you're actually going to do it's going to do you harm. Then
you'll convince yourself.
You'll convince yourself that there is something wrong because you did something, you know. So
yeah, but them Connells up there. Was it 2 sisters and a brother ended up in that house?
2 brothers.
And is it?
2 brothers and a sister and the mother and the father, Con and Noni. Noni used to be above the bud. They'd smoke a clay pipe when I was young. Yeah. And we were living above the I could see right down and Noni be sitting there and she'd see the smoke. It's kind of rubbish.
But the mother, when the mother and father died, did they all
Did they all die?
Did they all die out of the house?
They all died out of the house. Yeah, the whole of the family, as far as I know, died. No, I wasn't here when Johnny died. I wasn't here when none of them died actually. Would you believe it? No, it was Connon. They all died.
There's something. To the Connells, the quads above and over. Do you know the quads? Did you ever hear of them?
No. In Palace?
No. The other quads. They're great singers. Now these gals are younger, slightly younger than myself.
Yeah.
I think there's 4 girls or something. But we're somewhere related
to them, yeah.
Somewhere, and Martin Collins below. Well, the Collins church, they come from right across one time, I think.
Well, what's it called?
They're kind of related.
Packy was an odd man, though.
Packy Collins?
Packy Collins, when I was, Packy wouldn't talk to you at all. Packy see you coming, he'd hide. Now, that's the truth, he'd hide when he see you coming. And I came home from England there one time on a holiday. I was standing above the gate and this fella came down the road and I didn't recognise him. It was Packy on his bike. And then next thing he fucking jumped off the bike and he ran over and he stuck that out to me. How are you, Mickey? He said. I said, who the fuck is he? It was Packy, put on Packy. And you know, what happened was, what I was told after was, there was a priest in Capmore, and when Packy would know the priest was coming, Packy would be above across the lane looking down. He would be there, he'd never be there. And the priest copped this on after a while, so he couldn't meet Packy. So what he'd do, he went done his usual visit in the house anyway, moved up the road, gave about 10 minutes up the road, come back down again and cut Packy inside. And then, wherever he said to Packy was never hid away anymore after that. He was out and about meeting people. Like grand to see them for all of it.
All I remember was we used to go in there hunting the rat.
Yeah.
And of course we wouldn't know anything.
No, you wouldn't know. No. Johnny was Johnny Connor, all the Connors were a nice family, the whole lot of them even. Even old Connor, I remember old Connor, he was a grand old man. He'd be always out the gate waiting for a chat with you. He'd get up and down the road. He used to love if you talked to him, standing out and chatting. And for old Noni, the only thing she ever did was smoke an old clay pipe. And she was happy with that, you know. So I'll tell you the truth, most of the more people know, when I look back now towards today's generation, they never did anybody any harm. I think if anybody ever goes to heaven, the more people should go. Because they never really done any harm to anybody, you know.
I know.
So they were lovely people.
Isn't that? So I'll get back to your lawn, Johnny.
Well, I better go and cut my lawn now because they say the rain is coming again this evening.
There's a drip coming.
There's no drip coming now again.
Right, Johnny? Mike.
Right, Joss. You again,
I feel like kind of we'll have another chin wag. Yes. That's the end of the chat with Mikey Tobin.